Angus beef pies. And Hog's Breath Cafe. For a great steak always, free call 1-800-HOGSTAR.
Good punch from behind by Jakovic.
The Brisbane Lions have had a disappointing season to date, having lost 10 of their last 11 games, but today they enter round 16 with renewed confidence, with their captain Jonathan Brown returning from injury, and a last start victory down here at Aurora Stadium against the Hawks by 42 points. It's round 12, 2009. Hello and welcome to Aurora Stadium for this round 16 fixture. It is Hawthorn taking on the Brisbane Lions, and joining me in commentary, Tony Shaw. Should be a cracking game. There's a little bit about the Brisbane Lions today I like. Their odds are very long way away from the Hawks to win this game, but Jonathan Brown's back in. They're looking pretty confident.
Well, Jonathan Brown in and Buddy Franklin out. No wonder they've shortened up a lot. There's no doubt about that. But look, they've had a shocking last 10 weeks. A lot of it through injuries to players like Jonathan Brown. Favola hasn't been right, and they've missed players like Drummond. Brennan's been up and down. But gee, the Hawks, haven't they been sensational in the last 6 weeks?
They have been sensational. The other big out, obviously, during the week is Simon Black out with an ankle injury. So that is not good news. And as we saw Ash McGrath there celebrating game 152. He's a very important player. And actually, the conditions look like they're going to be rain here all day. But actually, it's perfect at the moment.
Just holding off at the moment, but I wouldn't count on it. There's a bit coming over the hills.
Oh, yeah. It looks like there's plenty of clouds coming in. I reckon they talk about the guys like Brendan Favola, Jonathan Brown. They are certainly a major focus of the Hawthorn Football Club. But if Hawthorn can continue to put the pressure on the ball carrier that they've done over the last 7 or 8 weeks, they're going to be hard to beat.
Well, no doubt. And look, what I thought about, they spread the load really well. The one thing too, their weakness, as we know that they're coming out, I would think, on side. The weakness has been, everybody said, their defence. I reckon they've been brilliant. And they've got some of that run back from out of their defensive half, which made them a great side when they won the premiership.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt they're the form team of the competition at the moment. They've won 6 of their last 7 games and just had that narrow loss last week against the Cats. And they are in good touch. Lance Franklin is out of the side, but a reprieve to Brad Sewell. He'll be back in, and it is a massive game for them. They want to continue to lock themselves into the top 8 with a win here today. It was disappointing that they were blown away in the last quarter last year when they played the Lions down here. Jonathan Brown got off the chain the last quarter, kicking 4 or 5 goals, and they really have bounced back. Let's have a look at the Hawks lineup.
Well, you look at that half-back line, you know, Ben Stratton at fullback's been sensation because Gill can play up or down the field. Murphy and Birchall on the sides, just give them that run. I love Young because he's a left footer, penetrating kick off the wing. We go to Hodge. He's had a sensational season also, can play anywhere. With Buddy Franklin not playing forward, he might be the man to go forward and kick a few goals and replace Buddy.
Yeah, they might need a few midfield goals. Sam Mitchell, there's a lot of talk about Sam Mitchell being out of the side today, but he will line up. He's got a heavily strapped hand, but he looks like he'll be right.
It looks like a guard that he's gone on. There's Chance Bateman now. Chance, from being one of the most free-running players in the competition, what he does now, he goes and plays on a player from the opposition and takes him out of the game. But there's a couple of things that they really have to look at if we talk about the Hawthorn keys. One, the forward pressure. If they don't pressure the ball coming out of their forward line, that means blokes like Brown and Favola will get some easy ball inside their 50. The other one, win the first possession. In the midfield, they've done that. They've scored really well over the last month from winning that first possession in the midfield. And the last one, if you don't stop it with pressure, you've got to really make sure that you spoil the ball well in your defensive half. They're third best in the competition in doing that in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, no, some very important factors as we have a look at the Brisbane Lions lineup, and obviously Dan Merritt's going to be a key down the back. He just holds the defence together. He's got support from Joel Patfull and the run of the likes of Ash McGrath. They have missed Jed Adcock, who's been playing deep for a long period of time. He's been out injured. And we've got the likes of Redden, Rockcliffe and Sherman. So a bit of pace across the midfield. Rockcliffe's been a standout youngster coming into the side this year. Jonathan Brown, obviously, the big inclusion. They look like they're going to try to stretch the defence of the Hawthorn team with Brown, Favola and Staker up forward. So you've got the big marking players. They'll rotate the likes of Leuenberger and Mitch Clark through there as well. Jared Brennan returned with some touch last week.
The other one too, Daniel Rich, had a great year last year. Hasn't been able to cope with the taggers. I love the way that Michael Voss is putting back to the half back line and playing out of the back line a fair bit, because his kicking disposal can hit someone, he can inside 50. So he's a very good player, and just to release him to the half back line has worked.
Well, let's have a look at the Lions' keys for today's game. And an important factor, and something they bounced back at last week, was their tackling pressure was very good. They've got to hold the tackles. Their intent was there last week. They have to take this into the game today to stop the likes of Hodge, Rioli, because the slip tackles certainly hurt you. Win the contested ball. Once again, last week it started to come back. They stemmed the tide against the Saints for a fair period of the game. That is something that's been missing over the last 3 months. And kicking efficiency. It is something that continually kills the Brisbane Lions. They turn the ball over. They work extremely hard, and they did the same last week. They work very hard to get the ball, but they just kick it back. And these days, turnovers cost you goals.
I think if you see where the Brisbane Lions are on the ladder, every side in the bottom 6 or bottom 7 have got exactly that same problem. If you cannot kick in the modern game, you won't keep your spot in the side for very long.
No, you can't. If you can't kick, you can't play, basically. Time for a break here at Aurora Stadium. The first bounce will be just after the break, and we'll be joined by Matty Campbell, who will be calling all the action.
Australia, the world's best one-day side, take on the #1 Test team, India. An epic Test double and 3 scorching one-dayers. Australia's Tour of India, live and only on Fox Sports.
Big wins have kept Canberra and Newcastle alive. Now it's all on the line on NRL Sunday.
Knight stormed the cabin. Unbelievable! This game has had just about everything.
Sunday, live Fox Sports.
Well, we took off early and our new Pajero.
We just love it out here, roughing it. Don't we, kids?
Now's the time to buy with limited edition Pajero Active. Available in powerful turbo diesel or V6 petrol. With over $5,000 worth of extras like sat nav, rear camera, nudge bar, fog lamps and side and curtain airbags. So visit your local Mitsubishi dealer and buy in July.
Love that car.
A new mindset. A new heart. New blood. And a new skin. The new generation Qantas Waggies. Men of gold. Built by rugby. Forged in union. This is the Bledisloe Cup. All ties are severed July 31. Bundaberg Red Tri-Nation Series. Qantas Wallabies v All Blacks. Live and uninterrupted Fox Sports.
Welcome back to Aurora Stadium. Jonathan Brown back in the side for the Lions to toss the coin with local Tasmanian hero Grant Birchall. Another player celebrating a milestone. Already mentioned Ash McGrath and also Chance Bateman. But it's a big day for Grant Birchall, and Smithy's got more to tell us about that. Rowan.
Well, Matty, as you mentioned, born and bred in Tasmania, tossed the coin. He actually won the toss as well. He made his AFL debut here in Tassie for the Hawks. He played his 50th game here in Tassie, and now he's playing his 100th game today here in Tassie. And I tell you what, I think there's 10,000 Birchells here, and his family are nice and happy that he's actually, playing all these milestone games right here in Tassie. And also, boys, I'm going to keep an eye on Jonathan Brown. I'm on Jonathan Brown watch today. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion about him at half-time just to see how he goes, how he's moving. He's been out for the last few weeks with that groin injury, so fingers crossed for all the Brisbane Lions supporters. He's back to his best today, Matty.
Thanks, Rowan. 10,000 Birchells. Does that make this game virtual reality? But doesn't really matter.
Oh, very nice.
I just couldn't help it. It's early, I know, but what do you think, Alistair? You arrived here today. You thought the Lions are a chance now that Brown's back in. Just gives them that oomph that you're looking for that they haven't had.
I reckon last week we just saw some signs they were competitive against the Saints, didn't have the class, but with the inclusion of Jonathan Brown, sure, Simon Blackie's definitely a big out, but Jonathan Brown's come back in and you just saw the confidence jump out of the players when they got off the bus. They're a chance today, especially with Franklin out.
But the Hawks have been in sensational form, just the one loss to the Cats last week over the last 7 weeks, and we're underway in this round 16 game. Important one for Hawthorn. They can get a bit of a break in the 8 and they can set themselves up perhaps for an attack at the top 4 as Guerra punches it out wide. Big run off with the mark, just slipping it off quickly. Guerra the man running past. Long ball, Roughead the target, easy one for Merritt to spoil.
And that's what Daniel Merritt is very good at. The long, high ball comes in and he's got good body strength, he's got good speed off the mark, and he'll hold his ground and just spoil effectively over the boundary line.
Crowd still building up here at Aurora. Very cold and foggy morning, but conditions should be pretty good for footy. Clark down to Brennan. Go forward off the boot of Rockcliffe, but not far enough. Stratton gave it to Gibson, who punches it forward again. Now, clever tap, looking for Hodge. The tap came from Lewis, but couldn't quite take it cleanly. What a year Luke Hodge is having.
Well, he seems to be getting better all the time. Smart play by Lewis. Just Hodgie couldn't grab it cleanly. But a good start.
Went off. Might have a second go at it here. Burgoyne. Back to Hodge, off the right boot to the square, going back Lewis. Patford was there, Roughead does the crumbing, the big man does it all himself, and Roughead kicks the opening goal. Good signs for the Hawks.
Well, it was a great sign. A great sign by Hawthorn, just the way that they've been in control of the ball for, I think, the first couple of minutes this quarter. It's all started from defence. Hasn't been a real attack on the ball from the Brisbane Lions. Michael Voss would not have been happy early, I wouldn't think, in the way that they've attacked the ball. Luke Hodge has had a couple of touches or been involved in a couple of stands of play and a broken tackle. You can't afford that with only 10 metres out against Roughead, who finished off easily on that occasion.
Goals have been hard to come by for Jared Roughead of late. 8 goals in the last 6 weeks. Had a good game against the Bulldogs 2 weeks ago, and that's the perfect start for their structure up forward without Franklin. Roughead to get on the board early.
It is a good confidence sign from Jared Roughead. Backed himself to beat the Rich tackle and held onto the ball. Backed himself to get to the line and just towed it over the line. So good goal, good start for the Hawks. Certainly, as Shorey touched on, I think the Brisbane Lions, they want to get their head over the ball a little bit harder. Michael Voss will be just a little disappointed at this stage, this early stage, of their intent over the ball.
So now Brennan gets it from Power. In turn, it was from Redden. High ball going in. That's a good mark. Hodge started well. Quickly spreading out wide. Good run. Bateman. Long ball in again. Roughead the target. He's got legs on Merritt that time. Takes the mark. Quickly to play on. Give it the dive from Bateman. He didn't take it. Brennan with one hand, which is usual. Eventually they get it forward, but it's all Hawthorn here with Guerra. Young with pace. He's a long kick. Lewis the target. Rich the spoil. Clark going back to help out, but Lewis recovers the best. And what a brilliant start by the Hawks. Go Lewis.
Some great signs, absolutely great signs from the Hawks. Every time they get the opportunity to go in a contested situation, they're winning those opportunities, and they're just peppering the ball inside 50 at the moment. Inside 50 is a 3-0, but they hold the ball inside 50 as well, and there's enough space that's been created by some strong leads, and this is some good work in a stoppage from Jordan Lewis. Had the opportunity to get out of the contest, but stayed involved.
Lewis with the goal to back up Roughheads. And we haven't been playing long, just over 4 minutes, and already it's a 12-point lead. That's just his 7th goal for the season.
Well, Jordan Lewis last week against Corey Enright kicked a couple of goals. He's already got one now against Daniel Rich in that negating forward role.
Redden, Renoff went again. Brennan, solid tackle from Mitchell on top of him. And the veteran Hayden Kennedy will come in and bounce.
Stephen.
So good tackling pressure there. Outstanding tackling pressure from the captain. Interesting matchup, that one. You touched on, Shorey. Lewis and Rich. Rich is pushing up into the midfield and wants to be an on-baller, and Lewis is getting into dangerous space.
Brown for his first touch for a while. Tapped it back to Buchanan. Hard at the footy was Bateman over the top of him. Ball up again.
Geez, there's some big matchups here. Rockcliffe's got the job on Mitchell. And we talked about Mitchell against Renoff in the ruck. And you're right, Power's trying to run with Bateman, but Bateman's utilising the other side of the ground and finding a lot of space. Yeah, they've swapped that matchup over.
From the knock, it's Rich, but look at the tackling. This time it's Hodge. Setting the example. Brilliant tackling early from Hawthorn.
Geez, they're on, aren't they, boys?
Yep.
Sure, you just mentioned Daniel Rich, how he was getting tagged by Jordan Lewis. He's actually been moved into the midfield now.
Yep.
Onto Sam Mitchell, so he's trying to run with Sam Mitchell as we speak.
So again, the ball up. Clark winning that knock. He was looking for Redden. Rockcliffe, hands over the top. Buchanan's got runners either side. Decides to go back to Rockcliffe. Short ball. He saw Brown out the corner of his eye. Wonderful help out the spoil. Wide kick. Chance here for Skipper. Can he get it on the up out to Ellis? He can. Ellis again. Bateman from Sewell. Taking their time here. Sewell, good pressure this time from the Lions. Hand on it by Staker. Stratton, searching handball through as a beauty. Xavier's high ball. And the punch from Merritt once again.
There's that good punch from Daniel Merritt, but he's going to be under siege with the rate of entry into the forward 50 for the Hawks at the moment. Midfield certainly on top for Hawthorn. Sewell's had 4 possessions so far, so he might have taken that rocket on board during the week and is in some good touch and ready for a big game.
Rioli got it forward. Peterson tries to keep it alive. Again, Lewis is there. Hawthorn free kick directly in front of goal. This will be their 3rd. Lewis to line up for his 2nd.
Well, Travis Johnson now, because they've moved Rich into the midfield, maybe just trying to start and drop the tag off. Travis Johnson has now got Lewis, and Jordan Lewis is having a major impact, as he did it last week, kicking his 2. He's going to have 2 very early in this game.
The bright start continues for Hawthorn here at Aurora. That ball's gone to the stadium.
Yep, great start from the Hawks. The Brisbane Lions have only just gone forward of centre on one occasion. They haven't had a forward 50 entry at this stage, but around this stoppage situation, they're very good because they're getting numbers to the contest, and even if it's not a clean possession, they're managing to knock the ball forward, toe the ball forward. See the holding decision there against Travis Johnson. Travis Johnson, probably in his defence, didn't know whether Jordan Lewis had taken the ball or not, and he's guessed that he's taken possession, but correct decision holding the ball.
2 goals Lewis, 3 goals Hawthorn. Saw last night the Cats got off to a flyer with the first 3 and the Crows fought back, but that was on home soil in front of a sellout crowd.
Well, Pierce Hanley's got the matchup on Jordan Lewis now. Jordan Lewis is trying to get to Travis Johnson.
Tough work in close, both teams. Again, Mitchell there. Secondary bounce.
Well, the problem with the merry-go-round in defence is that you normally just become so reactive to where the opposition goes. I think you just got to release it, pick a man, go and play on him, and you pay a price if you're not good enough, or just swap it over with someone else.
Well, that's the thing as coach. You've got to make a decision. I mean, isn't it it's a test of wills at the moment. Who's going to back off on what they want to do, what their structure was intended to be?
Well, I know they're under the pump early, but you've got to trust your first structure, I would think.
Mitchell gave it to the running player, who was Ellis. Kick out in front of Roughhead again.
Gee whiz.
Went to ground. Johnston in ball to Power. Still no room for the Lions to work. Hodge again solid. McGrath coming through. Sewell on top of him. They're too tight and they're too tough in close at the moment, Hawthorn. Mitchell again. Guerra lost it. Lewis threw it out to Ellis. Threw it on the boot. Chancey for Whitecross. Worried out of it by Hanley, but a good tackle from Whitecross. Peterson just ran past it. Rioli won't make a mistake. Tried to keep it going back in the direction of his teammate, but now Johnston, Power. Quick give. Poor kick coming out of defence though. Sherman ran straight past Murphy, who did well. Young. Gillam back to Young. Again, he goes long and direct. He had a shot at goal, actually. He needs a kind bounce. Leuenberger started on the bench, goes back to clean it up. An old-fashioned shot from 70 out.
Just didn't have the 20-knot breeze behind him.
A little bit optimistic, I thought.
Just a touch.
McGrath asks a fair bit from Leuenberger, and he's going to try and find the boundary line. Right over the top of him is Ellis, still going. Power might win a free kick for a high one.
Well, I said before the game, one of the keys was the forward pressure of Hawthorn. They've started brilliantly in that area. That's one way you're going to starve the ball from getting down to Brown and Favola, is keep it in your half, your forward half.
You know, it's pretty tough out there for the Brisbane Lions when 7 players haven't touched the ball yet.
6 inside 50s to Hawthorn.
Nil.
Lions yet to get it there. Brown's quick kick. Sending it back again. Lewis just tried to, he did what he needed to do, just kept it going in the direction of Osman. Back to Guerra, sets up for the goal square again, kicks it over the top of Roughhead's head, it might go through. Wrong side of the post.
You know what, Daniel Merritt, I saw him a month ago when he came back from injury and I thought, this is dinosaur territory, the way he's running. Ruffy is turning him around. Joe Ruffett is turning Merritt around easily in this game. Bad signs early, although I've got to admit the pressure downfield is non-existent.
Maguire's kick out wide, but there's no room to move here for Staker because Stratton's right with him.
That's probably the best option for Staker, just get the ball over the line. Not that the stoppage situation's a strong point for the Lions so far, but he was outnumbered 2-1, so get some numbers, get some support around the ball.
From the throw-in, Leuenberger in best position at the back, tapped it down. But again, Hawthorn first to it. Free kick there.
Brisbane.
Underneath all of that is Redden.
He's been a good player. Another one of the real success stories of this year, along with Rockcliffe, been outstanding youngsters to come into this side.
Here's Riscatelli.
They cannot move the ball quickly because either Campbell, Brown, Guerra, they've got a loose man back at the moment, Hawthorn, and they've kicked their early 3 goals, so it's really working their way at the moment.
Just had to kick to a contest. He wanted Brown, Gibson right with him. Punch forward, Sherman. The beauty of what we're seeing from Hawthorn so far is there is no space whatsoever for any line on the ground.
None whatsoever, and there's probably a zephyr of a wind advantage for the Hawthorn team, but certainly wouldn't be a goal advantage. The Brisbane Lions just aren't touching the ball at the moment.
Yeah, there's just a squeeze being put on. Mitchell tapping it back. Plenty of players around the ball, and that's suiting Hawthorn at the moment.
Well, that's rolled inside 50, so is that an inside 50 entry, Shorey?
Oh.
It's the first one if it is.
It's not a great one if it is.
But it's on the board as Hawthorn looked to clear. Hodge got it from Gibson. Wide Aguera, who's been busy early. Burgoyne his short kick.
On that, Shorey, champion data have given that as an inside 50 entry.
Well, does that mean that your percentage for scoring from that inside 50 entry also goes down as data? Because it'll be a negative.
Guerra, this time he's got no room to move. Buchanan wrapped him up. But again, Hawthorn with confidence. They run it back to Burgoyne. Beautiful kick.
Great use.
Out in front of the danger man up forward at the moment in Lewis. Around the corner he goes. Osman is there. It's touched off hands. Patfull not sure. Johnston with a switch. And had to be spot on, it was. Brennan can take it and go, no one to kick to, though. Kicks to space. Now, Favola has run a long way. Can he get it on the bounce? He can't. Sherman had to go back to Brennan. Little chip from him, looking for Rich. Oh, he's missed the target. Staker might be able to clean it up to Sherman. Waits. Riscatelli's going nowhere.
Look at the numbers around the ball for the Hawks. It would be 6 on 2 at that situation.
They should get a score here. Young waiting for Lewis to run out to the space.
Oh, beautiful.
It's exactly where it goes. Doesn't break strike.
He's got to hold it up now. He's got to be patient here. They've got no one deep. And he's just doing that. Bateman tried to make space running towards goal.
Told the move. Short pass. Osborne waited. He was patient as well. Waited for the hole to open up and ran into it.
Well, he was patient, and it was good discipline from the Hawks forwards to allow that space to open up. Osborne was lateral to the ball carrier and just slotted into the space. We'll see now Osborne's right of screen in this situation. He holds back, sees the space open up, jumps in, but Michael Voss and his coaching staff would be filthy that too many of the Lions defenders were just guarding space.
13 goals for this season. He's been accurate in front of goal. He continues in that vein. Hawks out to a 25-point lead.
Well, I think when you talk about guarding space, I think there'll be a message go out to young Tommy Collier. One thing is, if you're going to allow space, allow it outside 50. We can see right in the picture, 22 following Osborne in. You've got to get goal side and not allow him to run into that space. Even if you're zoning off, someone at least go with him until someone can fill in that spot.
If you're going to allow him to take possession, allow him to take a little cheap chip sideways 70 metres out, not inside the forward 50 by himself. Well,
Osborne joins, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say the alarms will be going off in the Brisbane Lions box just below us. There's some massive concerns. We thought Brisbane Lions might be up and about with Jonathan Brown into the side. The ball's hardly gone near him.
Well, those other highlights we talked about, kicking goals from contested clearances. Hawthorn are dominating that area, and this man, they've got to get someone else onto him. At the moment, it's Jack Redden. He's not good enough.
Mitchell.
Put Rich to Hodge to see if he can do something the other way.
You've got confidence to share it when it's in close, Hawthorn. This time not so tidy. Mitchell. And bouncing off the tackle was Rockcliffe. But a wonderful tackle on him by Ellis. Leuenberger. They're just too strong and in close. The fumble's coming from the Lions because they just know that there's pressure coming. They know there's bodies coming. Osborne releases Rioli. Lewis again having a field day on Johnston.
Yeah, he's putting on a clinic up there. This will be possession number 6. He's kicked the 2 goals.
And he found Osborne again. Deja vu. Too easy.
Yeah, but that's okay. At least he's outside 50 kicking.
He kicked it over the top of Peterson. Not sure that was the right option. And the Lions aren't out of danger just yet.
Well, it's about controlling the tempo of the game, and when you do get the ball in your hand, maybe the Brisbane Lions just got to slow things down a little bit until they can try to knock the Hawks off the tempo.
Well, Collier has put Maguire under pressure, chopping the arms. They're lucky there.
Very lucky. That was an elevated kick across goal, which just put too much pressure on his teammate on that occasion, Big Moosey Maguire.
He's forced to kick long. That's what the Hawks wanted. Leuenberger made good position though. Wants a runner, no one there just yet. Saw a shot of Brown on the sidelines. Maybe the switch is on.
Now, I did call him Moose Maguire because that's how he was introduced when he went to the Brisbane Lions by the Lions president.
Was he really?
Yeah, Moose.
Moose.
Welcome to the club. Oh,
Yeah.
gee, thanks.
Twin brother Goose is on the way, is he?
That's right.
Here he is, the man in
he's
question. He
50
made it 50 metres there. That's a push in the goose.
It's about the first mistake the Hawks have conceded so far. Just a little touch in the back and a little trip as well. Not a lot in it.
He's been good, Michael, but those little things in his game would annoy Alistair Clarkson. I think you love his aggression, and even he's done a bit of work, he said publicly, about trying to take that out of his game. That was just unnecessary, really.
And I think it's that what Clarko sort of likes, on the edge, but
unsociable.
Yeah, on the edge, but don't go over it.
Gee, kick to a long lead from Buchanan, who was pretty good under some pressure to mark it. But they still haven't got it inside 50 of their own accord.
Get it in long to the square. You've got two of the best marks in the competition. You're not going to hit anybody on the lead, you wouldn't think.
Well, they're still outside their 50.
That's a try.
Holding the ball. And no confidence whatsoever to kick it in forward.
Well, they had some one-on-ones deep, Matty. That's the thing. You've got to have confidence in a Favola and Brown to at least compete, bring the ball to the ground, even Staker.
And you know, as a defender, if the ball comes in quick to those one-on-one contests, it's not when you're comfortable. If you've got support, if the ball's slow coming in, that's when you're very comfortable as a key defender.
.81 disposals to 48, but the telling stat is 10-1 inside 50s. Leuenberger trying to get something going from the ruck. Burgoyne a little bit brisk on the handball, searching one forward from Rockcliffe. Murphy beat Banfield. Back to Birchall. He's got Rioli, the crowd favourite in Rioli, and he sends it back. He's got wonderful. Now, he's probably the only player in that team would have thought, no, I'll go out there, there'll be a man there.
Well, I was looking for the switch. I thought that was in his vision, and he's kicked it straight to his ruckman.
Here's Sewell. Too far for Roughhead that time.
It's one thing the Hawks are doing. They continue along the same line. They're not switching the ball through the centre corridor so much. They're backing their players and their structures to continue along the same line that the play is going and where the numbers are.
From the throw-in, Sewell was tough. Ellis sends it forward. Hanley goes back. Uncontested mark there. Now he moves it quickly to Patfull. But they're closed down very quickly. Redden.
Well, Brown's 60 metres away from the ball and he's 3-on-1.
This Brown, though, cuts it off, and Campbell Brown kicks the goal.
There's some indecision to get the ball long, and it was because Hodge had just come onto the ground, and it was a 3-on-1 situation, 60 metres away from the ball with Jonathan Brown. So that's why they didn't blaze the ball quickly towards Jonathan Brown, and it was a good intercept. See here, just with this handball here, it should have been a long kick to Jonathan Brown in a normal situation, but good pressure and outnumber. Brisbane Lions have been outnumbered at the contest on every situation at the moment.
He's rewarded with a spell, Campbell Brown. He joins the party, so to speak, for Hawthorn. 31 zip.
And just then, he just said to the trainer, I just felt something down. It looked like calf muscle, so they're doing some work. Smithy might have a look at that, but he did go to the trainer and say, I felt something tighten up. He used a clenched fist.
Have a look at this.
Lewis again from Rioli. They won't need him, sure. They could play with 17 at this stage. Such is their control of the zones. Peterson tried to bust the tackle. Held to him.
Look at the clearance from Cyril Rioli was outstanding. Have a look at this clearance situation. Leuenberger got his hand on the ball. Look at the pace and the clean hands and the balance. Outstanding.
Tap from Leuenberger, was looking for Johnston. Riscatelli wins it for Brisbane. Going back, Gillum. Clark wraps him up. But Stratton back to help out. Gibson return with Birchall. The back six combining nicely. Onto the chest of Sewell. Still working on that calf for Brown. Guerra to send them inside 50 for the 13th time. Well, let's kick it out on the full.
I was just going to say, how Cyril Rioli ran then, I remember as a 19-year-old, nearly 30 years ago, chasing an uncle called Morris about 35 times like that.
He could play.
Oh, could he play?
Jonathan Brown could do worse than call for a head count here at the moment.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Well, just to stop the momentum that the Hawks have got as well, but the work rate of the Hawks is much, much better than the Brisbane Lions at this stage.
So from the smothered kick, it's going to be a push. It's going to be Wade Skipper's free. And they will just continue on their merry way here.
Gee, Michael Voss, he doesn't want this to turn into an undisciplined rabble. You know, you've got to compete. That's the main thing.
Hodge lays it onto the boot. Lewis
is thinking, how long has this forward 50 caper been going on? This is great. This is great fun. He's moving around freely. He's had 9 so far. And 10 marks, to 5 marks, he's going on 10th disposal.
Doesn't it happen, though, when you go and play on someone, you get space because that person doesn't want to put any defensive time in you. Jordan
Lewis is enjoying himself so far this afternoon. He's got 3. The Hawks have got 6.
Now that confidence that I felt was around the Brisbane Lions group when they got off the bus. Well, I misread it.
I think they left it in the back seat.
They just can't get their hands on the ball. The disposal count is 102 to 54. That was just a silly free kick, really, just a little shove in the back. And too many players in space. Certainly one player you don't leave in space is Luke Hodge, and he was just standing off to the side of skipper, and he uses the ball so well.
Just then, that Mitch Clark free kick nearly says that I'm putting the white flag up physically and mentally because I can't cope. You've got to be better than that. Even if the ball comes down to a contest and you don't win the tap, you know, you cannot give free kicks like that away. It's too soft in the contest.
37-0, still time for more. The Lions still to put the ball inside their forward 50 of their own accord. It fell in once.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a boundary throw in 49 metres out. And there was one actual time it went into the forward 50, but Hawthorn kicked it in there as well. So it hasn't been in there a lot, 13-1.
Geez, it might be time to throw Jonathan Brown on the ball for 5 minutes or play him behind the ball just to get him involved.
Might be time to play all 4 bench players at the same time. Just get them out there.
Come on, Matty.
Risk a count. Here's Campbell Brown. He's had his quick rest on the bench. A bit of work. He found skipper.
Good mark, and saw Ash McGrath coming flying in. You see modern football. He had to pull up because he knew if he cannoned in the back of skipper, he would have been in trouble.
It was almost Lewis again there. Switch the play on here, but not a lot to kick to for Clark. He found power in the middle. In turn, he looks up to McGrath. 6-1 to nothing. I'm not sure they're going to score just yet.
And sure, there's Campbell Brown back out in the ground.
And there's tackling by a fingernail.
Polkinghorn was tackled. It was Brown. And laterally, Brennan forced to go back to Sherman. No confidence in the Lions to go forward, though.
No.
All their kicks are just across the ground. Hanley spots a player, Collier. Closing speed of Rioli is superb. He's going to win it back, is he? No, not just yet. Clark is a bit ginger.
As that ball was going to go forward, Brisbane Lions, I look down the line, there's Sean Burgoyne behind the play, there's Campbell Brown behind the play. One thing they're doing, they're being so offensive that they're scoring, but their defensive zoning is just brilliant at the moment, Hawthorn. Nearly like their premiership year.
Well, it's all about work rate, isn't it? Their forwards are prepared to push right up the field and help their defenders out, and then conversely, when they do get possession, they all run in a way forward.
Plenty of players around this ball that won't go anywhere just yet.
Also as well, Lynchy, that Ash McGrath is actually sitting in the hole just to try and stem the bleeding at the moment too.
And the only thing about that, Smith, if you look down to the Hawthorn defence, down the other end, I think it might be...
It's Campbell Brown, I think, at the moment,
it's
Shuri.
amazing.
Here's Bateman. Hodge, Rioli. Again with speed. This time chips it out into the path of the running roughhead. Right on his best range.
Geez, he can barrel this. No one's in the goal square if he wants to go over the top with an over the end.
He has got a little bit of breeze behind him, boys. Probably about 1 to 2 goal advantage for Hawthorn at the moment.
He could get home from here if he times it on the edge of the square. He times it for distance. But it's just off to the...
Beautiful kick, but sure, as you touched on, Ash McGrath's sitting inside defensive 50, but that doesn't help until the ball actually gets inside 50.
Right.
I mean, the problem is at the moment for the Brisbane Lions around the contest in the middle of the ground. And if they're getting outnumbered as it is around the contest, so I think I'd be tempted to push more players around the contest. I mean, inside 50 is they're struggling there at the moment.
That's the finger in the dike.
Well,
method.
it is.
That's
it's
what's
trying to stop the score, but it's not going to actually help the game, the result. Mitch Clark working pretty hard. He's spent most of the time on the ground so far, doing the bulk of the ruck work. He'll change with Leuenberger.
Love to know when Brisbane Lions hadn't scored in a quarter, in the first quarter at least.
They've had 3 scoreless quarters so far this year. The Lions could be the 4th. 38-0, 2 minutes to go. And the Lions' last scoreless first quarter, Tony, was in 1993.
You are fantastic.
All over it, Matty.
He just got that, and he's got that up top in his scone.
He just put down the coffee and just...
And tonight's winning numbers in the... No.
threw that out. Hodge again. around the ball. He's had 10 disposals.
Oh, now the undisciplined stuff coming in. We've got to get the camera on Michael Voss at quarter time. Oh.
Well, there's something he'd be pleased to see, the chase from Staker.
Yeah, good chase.
Padful to Hanley. Power. Now they've got some room here, and Staker's out wide if he spots him.
Oh, Fev might be in space.
Fev is in space, but it's going to take a very long kick from Staker to find him.
50.
Not just yet. Well, that's 50 metres.
Ooh.
2 metres.
We've seen those at different times played 50, but it's probably just the way the Brisbane Lions are going at the moment.
I'd go. I reckon Fev's got to go a torp here.
No, you can't do that.
Oh, you've got to lift your team. And he's tried to. He's gone. That's what happens when champions try and lift your team. They don't look like scoring. Do something different.
Polkinghorne gave the opportunity to Power, and Power breaks the deadlock. Torpedo or not, they've got a goal, Tony.
All right, Shory, nice work. Try something different, the barrel.
Well, I'm thinking, they don't look like scoring. You've got a champion out there who we know can do the unusual. Now, it came out like a mongrel. It was a shocking kick, but they got a front and centre, and it just created something, the unknown factor. And that man, Lukey Power, just on the end of it. Gee, you've got to know your position in the game, and I think that was worthwhile then. That wasn't undisciplined, just a champion taken on for the team.
The goal to Power. I thought Favola was pretty unlucky not to get a 50 because he marked it on his own.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. He
there was
took
no
possession
contest,
by himself, and end result was the right one for the Brisbane Lions. But, geez, fair to say they needed it.
It was good because I didn't have to go looking for more stats at quarter time.
Yeah, that's right.
There's the clearance again from Hawthorn. That time it came from Burgoyne. But in the end, Ruffy's there, and they picked up another score, 39-6.
Daniel Merritt will be looking forward to the end of this season. He needs a good pre-season. He had a shocking run with injury. He was out for, I don't know how many weeks was it, Lynch? Probably had to be 8. Had to be 8, wasn't it, I thought. And he come back, but he just needs a pre-season now.
Lions to kick to the outer side. They'll be happy to hear the siren here and set up somehow, have a chat with Michael Voss, as Tony said. Hodge can't keep it in.
Well, there's Michael coming down, and I have been there before. Probably not at this situation. We've got some beltings, but not probably later in the game in Mike's coaching career. But, you'd love to have the mic inside that huddle.
Oh, you're rehearsing his script for him, I think, Shory.
Burgoyne sends Hawthorn inside 50 once more. They've got time for another one. Roughhead marks on the siren. And according to the script, you'd expect him to kick this.
Yeah, you'd think this is a Monty, and that little bit of a breeze, he's just set up right for Jared Roughhead, the right footer. Just put it top of the square, and hopefully it just come back through the middle of the ground.
I reckon time for a change too. I reckon Matty Maguire goes to this bloke, and let Merritt be the floater.
Lewis has had a big quarter. Roughhead's gone, the banana, and bingo! What a quarter from Hawthorn. Roughhead kicks his second. It is all Hawthorn here at Aurora Stadium. They're happy, they're pumped. The crowd is on their feet because they have put this game almost beyond reach. 39 points at quarter time. We'll take a break while Michael Voss gets his head straight.
Chris Judd, Adam Goods on AFL Sunday, live at 12:30. 7th versus 6th.
Just threw it on the boot and said, that'll do.
The elite midfielders face off in an epic encounter.
Good hands, good tip. Unbelievable goal.
And live at 4, are the Demons able to shock the Dockers and dent Freo's top 4 tilt? Fremantle, Melbourne.
Runs around and kicks the goal.
It's a 7-hour session of live AFL on Fox Sports.
It's not discussed often, but the Scots have never been very welcome on the Australian worksite.
Oh, Lachlan! For God's sake, man! Use your knees!
Until now.
with the new 420 legendary Angus meat pie. Made with only the finest Angus beef, it's welcome on any worksite.
Shane's always wanted a dual cab ute, and he bought a Great Wall V240 4x2, loaded with features. Did you get a good deal, Shane?
No. Got a great deal.
Great Wall Motors, the great cars of China.
Things are really heating up at Dick Smith with red-hot deals store-wide. Like this new TomTom GPS, only $244, and with 500 extra Qantas frequent flyer points. This 32-inch LG LCD HD TV is only $698 and comes with a bonus DVD player. And this compact Presario notebook is just $797. But hurry, these red-hot deals won't last long. Dick Smith, talk to the Texperts.
BOQ, we're searching for the #1 Lions fan. So if you fill the boots, go to number1fan.com.au and enter now.
Skin irritation? This could be due to tiny cuts on your skin. But Gillette Fusion's 5-blade suspension system reduces pressure. So you get Gillette's most comfortable shave, even on sensitive skin.
Searching my pages now, sir. I'll connect you and text through the details. Booyah! Texted straight through. No need to write the number down. Au revoir, pens!
Great work, Sock. Texting is perfect for Telstra customers on the move.
Oops. For answers on the move, call 1234.
The PGA Championship. August 13 on the home of golf, Fox Sports.
Back to Hodge, off the right boot to the square, going back Lewis. Padford was there, Roughhead does the crumbing, the big man does it all himself, and Roughhead kicks the opening goal. Good signs for the Hawks. Lewis the target, Ridge the spoil, Clark going back to help out, but Lewis recovers the best, and what a brilliant start by the Hawks. Goal Lewis! Yes, and I think that sums it up. Goal Lewis, because he has had a wonderful first quarter. The Hawthorn lead by 39 points at the break. Lewis with 10 disposals and 3 goals. Only the third time in his career he's got to that number, and it's already at quarter time. Power kicked the goal for the Lions. Good thing for them. Stats-wise, gentlemen, as we take a look at those, they've been inside forward 50, kicked the goal every time, the Lions. It's once.
That's the one positive. Very good, Matty. They'll be very happy with that. But they've been obliterated in disposals, uncontested possessions. And the contested possessions, there's a fair gap there as well. The tackles, they're pretty even on the stats count, but I think the intent across the board has been a massive win for the Hawks. Centre clearances, 4 to zip, and inside 50s, obviously, as you touched on, 17-2. And
one of those
concerns.
fill-ins. Yeah, one of those just fell in. Let's head down to Rowan Smith on the boundary. Sorry, Rob.
Thanks, Matty. But just an injury update on Campbell Brown. He came off during that first quarter with a little bit of a tight calf. He spoke to the physio at length there at quarter time, but they've given him the all clear. You know how bigger heart Brown he's got. And also, too, boys, on Jonathan Brown for the Brisbane Lions, yet to have a touch in that first quarter. He come off a couple of times. He's showing no signs of that the groin soreness. And mind you, you just highlighted it before, Matty. Only the 2 inside 50, so no wonder he hasn't had a touch. And I'm with you, Shorey, just put him onto the ball probably for the first 5 minutes just to try and get him back into the game.
Well, I'd even start him off the half-back line and just run him up, I would think, Rowan, just to, float through with the play because, look, they'll turn it around. They've got to be more competitive, and I think Michael Voss would have just said, OK, boys, this side has come out. They've embarrassed you with their attack on the ball. All I want to see is a bit of kamikaze, but when you get your hands on the ball, let's be smart and play the way that we tried to play. The pressure will come, but you've got to be able to withstand that, and I reckon that would have been the message.
Mitchell, one of the many players who were just so strong around the contest in that first quarter that really did put the Lions off going near the footy or having any confidence to go near the footy.
Yep, this first centre bounce in the second term is going to be very important. Just the Brisbane Lions need to get their hands on the ball early.
39-point lead at quarter time. Ball up, second quarter underway. Rich gives it to Leuenberger, but he missed his target. But Brennan goes back and wins the free kick for getting there first. Brennan out wide. Running on for him, Buchanan. Into the pocket, Staker the target. Used his body to get rid of his opponent in Stratton, but the handball up high. It's a tough one for Brown. Give Smithy something to watch there. He's touched the footy.
Put under a fair bit of pressure, but it was a centre clearance, albeit via a free kick to Jared Brennan, but they got the ball moving quickly inside 50.
The umpire just waiting. Just needing a bit of room. Leuenberger there first. Ran off though. Forces the contest at ground level with him. And I feel we'll have another ball up.
Every Hawk now, Matty, is around the 50-metre arc, the defensive 50-metre arc of the ground. So 1/3 of the ground, every Hawk's inside that. That is incredible. Have a look at this. There's the back of the square. They're all just forward about 10 more metres before that was panned out.
So no room to move.
High contact, but just once again, still great tackling pressure from the Hawks. On that occasion, it was a free kick to the Brisbane Lions, and Jonathan Brown will line up for his first kick and first goal in the game.
Well, I'll leave it up to the captain, hey. He just said, I'm going to will myself onto this contest. No doubt about the free kick.
So the tackle was good. It was just Luke Hodge just reaching in over the top of the shoulder of Jonathan Brown.
So his first kick on return. Tight angle. 30 metres out. Hits it okay off the boot, but it's tight on the post, but he likes it, and he's back.
That'll do the mindset of the Brisbane Lions, and Jonathan Brown at no end of good. I mean, it's just very important they stop the leaking so many points that they've been doing. Get their hands on the ball, which they've been able to do in the first few minutes of this quarter, and it was a free kick, but certainly it's a goal, and that just helps stem the flow of, well, the flood of goals at the other end of the ground.
We just know the intensity couldn't stay the same, you wouldn't think, for that long, that long a period for Hawthorn.
So he started the season with an absolute bang. He was averaging 6 goals a game in the first 4 rounds, and then he started to get sore, but that was goal number 36 for the year. But importantly for his team, the Lions have got 2 of the last 3. Sewell missed Guerra with the hand, but again Sherman ran past it. Young, Rich trying to get shoulder free, so did Sherman. Power manages to throw it on the boot. Here comes Brown, but Hodge will get there first, or will he? No, it bounces for Brown. Gibson right with him and kept his feet.
Oh, he missed his hand.
It just untidy, wasn't it? But they back up again, Hawthorn. Gibson to Mitchell to Hodge. They're mucking around with it a little bit.
Oh.
Now, I think at the last minute he actually
did that.
Yeah. To get it out to Gibson. Again, he stays on his feet. So a lot of possession there from Hawthorn. And you wouldn't say it's pretty footy. That's pretty footy from Brennan. But well, he confused himself and the rest of the team. Kick forward, great courage, wonderful courage, Guerra. Let's hope he's okay.
Great courage and great skill.
And look at his teammate go straight to him, Gillam, just then. I reckon he did mean that, Sammy Mitchell, just at the top. Gee, that marking contest here, you've got Brendan Favola coming down on you, and Gillam, he goes up and he said, well done. You just saved my man from kicking a goal probably and hurt yourself, but that's all right. I'll give you a pat on the backside for that.
Outstanding from Guerra. And he finds Burgoyne. He just worked into the game nicely with 11 disposals in the first quarter. Hasn't he just been a wonderful addition to this team?
And it was that game when he debuted and the Hawks started to get on a roll of winning games.
Yep, big leap. Peterson almost took it from nowhere. Here's Brennan again. He's gone the torpedo. The bag of tricks is open for Jared Brennan. Power, waits, Banfield. That's not the way you play Hawthorn, trying to beat tackles like that. Power backed up well to Buchanan, and the Lions should get 2 in a row.
Well, what I was trying to say about the intensity is that the Hawks were brilliant in the first quarter. You cannot do that, I would think, for 100 minutes. You're going to have your 15 minutes where it's a lull, and that's what's happened now. They're just taking the foot off the pedal. You know that if Brisbane only had to lift 5% on that horrid first quarter, you're going to have an impact.
They've been pretty good of late, set shots in front of goal, Brisbane. Buchanan for 3 straight for the Lions, and all of a sudden they're back to a 27-point deficit.
He's been a handy recruit, Eamon Buchanan, since he came up with from the Sydney Swans, and had an injury early in the year. I think he broke his thumb in probably the first game of the season. But he's been a very handy addition, bit of experience, bit of strong body around the contest, and he can kick goals. So some very not useful work from Eamon Buchanan, but a great pass from Luke Power. Just pulled the little left foot kick around the corner. He's been doing that his whole career. Uses the ball very well.
Hawks kicked the first 6. Lions have got 3 of the last 4.
Well, the senior players are lifted. Brennan's been involved, and he's a senior player. There's no doubt about that. Powell has had a couple of involvements, and Jonathan Brown's ran at the contest twice. So, you know, you need your senior players. Now the youngsters have to come along for the ride here. They're going.
There's one, Leuenberger. Staker. Leuenberger kept going, the ruckman, and he just crunched out of it by Campbell Brown, though. Spills out wide to Young. He's going to take on Power. And he realises he's got younger legs. Power stayed with him, though.
Well done.
Yeah, stayed with him. But here go Hawthorn, open forward line. Kick is wide, and it'll be out of bounds.
Gee, that's a great chase. Is that a champion player? Like, you know, Lukey Power's coming to the end of his career, playing as a small forward, or a forward who moves up the ground. Look, this is just a will to compete. And he just got a fingernail there. Fantastic effort.
From the throw-in. Renoff there. Now it bounces up into him, and he's thrown to the ground with the tackle. And then it's pinched out of his hands by Redden.
Brad Sewell, very happy to be back in the side today. He's had 10 disposals, mostly in the first term. He's been quite good.
Bateman was there, but he couldn't take it. Power, as Tony mentioned, starting to get involved. Pad full. Has Redden over the top. Staker. They're going to run out of room shortly. Brown didn't have the touch to get it to Redden. He just put a hand back in to try and keep it going. Again, Burgoyne. Mitchell. Staker cut it off. Second efforts from Hawks good here. Gibson, Stratton, Mitchell's third effort.
Oh.
Murphy forward with the kick. Power, happy to see it over.
Well, that was a good contest, and very good from both teams. I mean, Hawthorn were able to maintain possession with very quick hands, but they weren't able to move the ball far forward because of the pressure from the Brisbane Lions. So good work. The intensity has certainly picked up from the Lions.
Leuenberger got it down to Rich, but he's quickly collared. Rioli, Mitchell threw it on the boot. Into the pocket it goes. 2-on-1 the Lions. Throw in.
Deep in that forward pocket. See the tackling pressure again. The likes of Burgoyne, but what about the pace of Rioli in that situation?
Just accelerated away from everyone else, didn't he?
Just like Shorey in his heyday.
Oh, yeah, good on you. there is a lull in play.
Yeah, then he woke up and had a shower and got ready for the game. But as you mentioned, Alistair, the good thing is the Lions have seemed to have got back into this contest now. I mean, they just could not get near it early.
No, they couldn't get near it, and they just weren't competing at the level that Michael Voss would have thought was acceptable. And I'm sure that he's gone through at quarter time and outlined the things they need to put in place at the start of this second term to be competitive in this game.
Well, this is workable now. Another goal here, you know, it gets to 20 points, so or close to 20 points. You're thinking, okay, we just keep pegging away at it, and that's exactly what Michael Voss would have said at quarter time. One, the work rate had to lift up, and this man, well, Sam Mitchell never drops in that area.
And Rioli's kick looking for Peterson, but he's worked out of it well by Maguire.
Experienced defender, strong body, just used his hand to push him to the side, and oh dear.
kicked it into the back of Ash McGrath. And in fact, it's paid off because they were in trouble. Maguire realised he had nothing to kick to.
So he's kicked it into his head.
On purpose, Matty.
That's a Jared Brennan trick.
That's right. Have a look at this one. There you go.
Matty.
Oh, it's a ricochet. It's the old ricochet play, sure. Here's Burgoyne again. Here's the danger man at these clearances together with Mitchell. Umpire giving it plenty of time to come out.
Tell you what, Leuenberger's had a go too when he's gone on the ruck. Just his contest, not just the tap work, and he's had replay again.
Oh, wonderful decision.
In between the shoulder blades.
Oh, Ash McGrath, game 150, he's a target. Ball just, again, ricocheting about. Leuenberger is working hard. Riscatelli the fumble. Ellis. There's Leuenberger again.
Well done, son.
That is good stuff from the big man. His kick, unfortunately, might just sit here nicely for Gillum. Back in board Murphy. Took his time off the ball.
Both experienced players. Bev with his second effort. Luke Power was there, got the free kick in the end, but good work from both Lions players.
Heads in the Brown direction, but it's been sideways over the top. Staker. Now he won't have the pace to get past Gibson. First to it, Hodge. In the back, it's going to come back to Gibson. Advantage paid. Wide kick, just a skipper.
That was a bit of an example of Jonathan Brown being out of the game for a month. Just didn't read the ball well and just floated over his head.
Ellis.
There's Leuenberger again.
He has to stand and wait here, Leuenberger, and he just made a meal of it.
That's a throw, mate.
It is a throw, it's been paid, and it's going to cost Merritt here.
He's a liability at the moment, Daniel Merritt, and they're on again here to Osborne.
Roughhead's kicked just a little bit too far for Osborne. Has he got the pace to outrun Hanley? No. Still alive, Hawthorn, though. Pressure on McGrath, searching for the boundary line. Spins like a top on its axis and goes over.
Great tackle here again. They're just lifted in so many areas, and they had to after that insipid first quarter.
Well, that was so important, that chase from Piers Hanley.
Bateman, though, to do something about it, and he did everything right except he curled it too far.
That pace of the contest, we've seen Rioli, now Bateman, Hodge is another, Burgoyne, that hit the contest at pace. They're not all stationary around the stoppage. There's always one or two Hawthorn players in motion and ready to get the quick ball out.
McGrath to himself and then trying to get some distance, looking for Mitch Clark.
That's Leuenberger's free, but it's play on.
Play on to Clark. That kick is one in hope, though. Favola arrives. Crash the pack, or crash the player. Back goes Gillum, though. Hodge so often just sets it up from here. Murphy, Mitchell running past. Beautiful pass, Birchall. 100-gamer. Chipping over the top. Roughhead. Strong hands. He's got it all over. Merritt, he played on.
Oh, that's a throw.
Threw that out.
It's going back, no advantage. Hayden Kennedy on the spot, bit of push and shove. 50 metres against Ruffy, not happy.
Well, Roughhead just threw his opponent to the ground. Gee, great courage by Campbell Brown going back there. And Merritt, very lucky on this occasion that Ruffy played on, because that's twice now in the contest. I still think they might have to look at Matt Maguire there. They need a goal here, Brisbane Lions, and they are backing this game, no doubt. Another score here.
Well, the kick is going to ask a fair bit of Jared Brennan. It's 20 metres in front of him, and here he is. With the one hand, hooking it back. Banfield has to stand and wait, but Brown cannons into him. Welcome back, Jonathan.
Yeah, great mark, but great centering ball from Jared Brennan as well. Just put it to a dangerous spot, 25, 30 metres out. And that is always a bit of a nightmare. Have a look at the 50-metre penalty. There's the initial free kick. And then the 50-metre penalty is he just goes on with it there and just throws his opponent to the ground. But that's a dangerous position where Brennan has put the ball in. Great courage and great mark from Jonathan Brown.
This for his second, but for the team, it'll be 3 goals in this quarter. Gets close to the man on the mark, but bangs it through. The Lions continue to make their comeback.
Well, 3 goals to nothing in this quarter, and well, we expected them to lift, there's no doubt, but a couple of things have worked. They've now got control of the forward line, except for Roughhead and Merritt. If Roughhead, the ball's not getting as deep as they'd like, Hawthorn, and I think the Roughhead might have even come off then. I'm just having a look to see, because he had that 50-metre against him, but they've got some clearances now, and some of their senior players, as I said, have lifted. Brown's one, Brennan's the other.
Trademark, chess mark and goal from the skipper. Let's go to Rowan.
Well, Matty, just one of the great moves by Michael Voss here at quarter time has been the move of Jared Brennan into a half-forward flank on Luke Hodge. Luke Hodge had, I think, 10 possessions in the first quarter. He's just had the 3, and Jared Brennan's become a little bit dangerous up in the forward line.
Burgoyne did everything right, but just a little bit of a tackle at the end. It's spewed off the side of his boot. Polkinghorn, look at Burgoyne still going on the chase. Polkinghorn's kick, he wanted the boundary. Young going back. Didn't have possession. And benefit of the doubt for Johnston.
Well, now it's time for Clarkson to make a move there, Rowan. You just throw Hodge on, and you know that they've got a number of players who could play on Brennan as tall forwards. You could go to Birchall. Who else you got down there? Stratton. Those sorts of players could play on him.
Yeah, it just seems that he's going. Jared Brennan's going with Luke Hodge all over the ground too, Shorey, as well.
Well, I reckon Hodge just go on ball. That's what he does so well, and Brennan's not as good in that area.
Burgoyne saw that Rioli had peeled off the front of the pack. Rioli throws it on the boot. Long ball. Roughead and Merritt one again. This time it's Renoff. Change might have been made there. Polkinghorn came through. Did well. Handling. Chance to run it out the lines. Staker the target. Right with him, Stratton. Staker recovered first. No one to give it to, though. Now chip over the top. Will it make power? It will. He plays on quickly into the space. Free kick against Favola, and it's going to Gillum.
Yeah, Gillum just got the jump on Fev and got in front, and through probably frustration, Fev's grabbed hold of Gillum's left arm and given away the free kick.
Hawthorn's best first quarter of the year. Saw them lead by 39 points at quarter time. Brisbane have got it back to 22.
This is what they've done. They've really slowed up their movement from out of their half back line. So they've just slowed up a lot of slow plays against Hawthorn at the moment. And they can't cope with it.
It's a good mark by
Sure, you can just see, sorry, matey, you can just see Luke Hodge there. He just came off. He's just getting a little bit frustrated, getting tagged by Jared Brennan, just talking to Alistair Clarkson.
Little chip inside to Murphy. Plays on quickly. Kicks in the Lewis direction. Polkinghorn spoiled. Chance here for Peterson, though. He's been quiet. Kicked it forward. Needs a good bounce. It's still going. Still going. Wrong side of the post. No, it's not. It's a goal of Bateman. Or is it a free kick? Umpire, either one. It'll be goal Hawthorn. No.
I think the umpire was saying to actually hit the post. Yeah, you can see that I just looking down here at boundary level, it did ricochet off the post.
A good decision.
Gee.
Discussion from the central umpire as well, as we see
we'll get a good
ball
look
here.
at it here.
Luke Power just come off the shin there, and Bateman's taken possession. And
Watched it.
Right behind it, Rowan Smith, all over it.
It's going to come back quickly here for Hawthorn. Skipper. Told to move.
Even this is a good sign for the Lions, something very different to the first quarter where Hawks were able to run and hit up targets inside 50. Now they've been forced to bomb away when they're going deep into the forward 50.
Short chip from Sewell. Didn't quite make its mark. He's going to get it back. Lewis got it to him. Mitchell giving ground back to Whitecross. Knocked from his hands. Birchall came through. One-handed pickup was clever. Sewell reloads. Third attempt from him to get it inside 50. Now there was a push way at the back of the back of the line.
Against Peterson.
It's Ashley McGrath's.
Well, the other thing too, also with Hodgie, you know, if Brennan's there, Hodgie goes forward. You know, Brennan doesn't like to play as, wouldn't like to play on him as a defender. So I think you've got to be a bit proactive in that matchup.
Hands in the back, Osborne, who was fourth in the queue. Gee, that's a poor kick out of defence. Here's Mitchell. Hawthorn reloading. Again into the pocket they go. Ran off the target. Peterson the crummer. Front and square. This time he straightens up. Great smother though. Wonderful smother. Padful. Hard bodies go in from both teams. No.
Gee, I'm glad the umpire said no then, because that was a great contest.
I'm just saying, was someone trying to get a quick single? No.
A great contest, and that's what we expected would see from the first bounce today. But certainly intensity has picked up.
And that's going over the boundary line.
But once again, the Hawks were forced to go long to Renouf on that occasion to jump in a contest. Could have taken the mark, but there's certainly no easy possessions or easy marks inside 50 in the second term.
Tell you what, Matty, that stat about inside 50s, the goals, 4 goals and 8 times inside 50, looking pretty good for the Brisbane Lions.
They've got some efficiency there, but
24 times inside 50 to Hawthorn.
Drive straight up. Hawks still searching for that first goal of the quarter. They've been close. Merritt holding the ball. He's having a dark day.
He just tried to take on the tackler on that occasion, and you can't take on the tackler against this team because they are far too good. They tackle so well. That was the big ruckman, Brent Renouf. Be very happy with that tackle. Dropped the left shoulder into big Daniel Merritt. Caught holding the ball.
He has been back for a month. That was just dumb football. You just kick the ball along the ground as far outside 50 as you can get it. Instead of, as you say, they tackle too well. Everybody in the league tackles too well for that sort of stuff.
Here's Renouf. 2 goals, 5 for the year. 45 metres out. Acute angle across the face. Another behind for the Hawks.
Starting to develop into a very handy ruckman, Brent Renouf. He's been given plenty of opportunity because the injuries that has decimated the ruck stocks over the last couple of years for the Hawks, and he's played a lot of games and a lot of very good ones now.
Again, McGrath forced to kick to himself. Not a lot of options. High ball. Clark is the target. Got up well. And Lewis sees it over. Quiet quarter for Lewis after a brilliant opening term.
He was outstanding in that first term, and a lot quieter. He's only had the one disposal in this term.
From the clearance, the Lions with a couple of numbers. Buchanan got it, chip short, Staker the target. Hard one to mark. Staker trying to get boot to ball. Rockcliffe kept it in. Now Buchanan's given it up to Mitchell. In turn, he gives it to Burgoyne. He shrugs the tackle beautifully. Good. Long ball in. Maguire did okay to make good position with strength.
And on Ruffy too, so I don't know whether they have made that change. It looks like it might have happened.
Squeeze kick out from Travis Johnston. Gee, got some distance on that. Rich didn't think it'd go that far. Brown gets around him. Now Rioli, the danger man. Short pass looking for Lewis. Missed his target. Poking on. It's tapped back there by Lewis. McGrath with Whitecross. Free kick, Whitecross.
That's not a bad free kick there, though. They can get numbers back quickly now, and he's held the ball up. So, you know, not bad. The only better part of that is if it went out of bounds and they had a throw in.
Short to Hodge.
Forward stationary at the moment, just starting to move now for the Hawks, but not a lot of movement.
Hooks it to the pocket, and he hooked it to Roughhead to run to it. He almost took it. Crummer's needed. Peterson is there. Still going forward, Peterson. Tapped it cleverly to Young. Young breaks the tackle. Handball over the top. Ellis breaks the drought for goals for Hawthorn.
Well done to Carl Peterson. Just a second effort at ground level to tap that ball back in the corridor. He went up for the mark, I think it was in the first case, and really gave a good contest. You just see it here. Pushes the ball out, and this, just to get that second handball or touch on the ball to hit it into the corridor, finished up as an easy goal because the player just kept in the contest for as long as he can keep it in. He's become a pretty important player. Other thing he can do is he can take a spec. He loves to take a high mark.
Goals are easy for the Hawks in the first quarter. It took them 22 minutes to kick one in this term. Ellis was the goal kicker.
And they needed one. Brisbane Lions have kicked the previous 3 goals in the game and 4 out of the last 5 goals, so they needed to hit back the Hawks.
What can the Lions do in return? They'll win the centre clearance through Brennan. Buchanan against Brown. Buchanan got rid of him, but Brown will come again. Nice work by the former Swan, though, to get clear of the contest. Looking for Brown. That's a solid punch from Gibson.
Gee, that's a great score. And Brown was forced wide with his lead, but Gibson just closing speed to stay right on Jonathan Brown and get that left fist in to kill the contest.
Renouf and Leuenberger to do battle for this throw-in. Hodge free kick against Brennan.
And it was called from the non-officiating umpire. He's about 50 metres off the contest, Hayden Kennedy.
Long kick from Hodge.
That's holding the man too.
Again holding against Brisbane. Just concerned about the strength of the
I think it's going to Collier.
No, it's going to Collier.
Oh, he said Tom Collier put his arm up the other way, didn't
Yeah, just one thing. I think they've got to try and get Fev in the game, trying to push him up the half forward. Even if you drop Jonathan Brown back for 5 minutes, you need to get both of them involved in the game.
Hanley now took his time to think about getting it wide. Clark, 2-on-1 Hawthorn, but here comes Rockcliffe. Missed it off the ground. Composure by Ellis to Gillen. Peterson. Took the mark well. Running on was Young.
See, that was a good kick out in front of Young too. Sherman was very close and closing, but the kick from Peterson was lace out.
Hawthorn have...
I've got to get away from the mark. There you go.
Everybody's a little bit confused as Young kicked it long and Brennan with a bit of a leap.
He's been good.
That's that shepherding off of the mark. You cannot make contact before they call play on. So you've got to stay just a couple of metres off them.
Power almost ran himself underneath it. Only Burgoyne's touched the ball more than Brennan. 17 to Burgoyne, 16 to Brennan. Buchanan dropped the footy and he copped one high. A little bit dazed. Scooped up, came to Osborne. Hodge was standing there, tried to feed it back in. Clark with strength. It's pretty tough from both teams here. Whitecross can't get far. The attack on the ball was good.
It is, and Eamon Buchanan just coming out of that last contest with a bit of a head knocker. She's on out.
Gee, someone will get a free kick here. Well done. Yeah. Oh, no, he had to get away from the players. He's going to throw it up straight away.
Yeah, good work.
Buchanan's contact, and he's had a few head-high contacts this season.
Well, the torpedo off the outside of the boot from Whitecross. He couldn't try it if he wanted to. He's kicked it out on the full. Quick play to Riscatelli.
Whitecross is on Brennan to try to shut him down, who's been very good in this term.
Lions haven't been able to switch very successfully so far in this game. They've been closed down by Hawthorn. McGrath wants to go down the corridor. Johnston is target. Murphy coming. Johnston goes to ground, but he knew what he was doing. He knew he was up quick. Power, those little legs still going. Roughhead right with him though. Power trying to fish it back. Merritt. Johnston. Again, good pressure, Hawthorn. Collier. Step. Hawthorn will win it here for sure. Oh, that's a lovely tackle. Again, they go in hard. The tackle came from Polkinghorn, but Mitchell somehow ends up getting it back. And look at this, the spread from Hawthorn. No one to kick it to just yet. They keep going wide. Back through the corridor goes Skipper. Hodge. Whitecross straightens up, sees Peterson is long. Can he jump from there?
Cyril.
That was Cyril, it was. He didn't. Merritt just played on, though. He is just having a shocker, and Young's going to make him pay. Daniel Merritt can't find a hole big enough.
Well, I think that's an understatement there, Matty, because what's happened, Cyril really gave a free kick away to Daniel Merritt, but Merritt wanted to play on the ball quickly. Received a kick in here. He had too much hype for Cyril Rioli. Free kick, but a mark at the same time. When this handball comes from Sherman, and it was Rioli's pressure, had to be a handball, not a small kick to keep control. Quick handball forward. He's just not thinking right, Daniel Merritt. As I said, he needs to get to the pre-season of next year very quickly.
So a goal to Young, and they've steadied here, the Hawks. They've kicked the last couple. They're back to control of the game.
Yeah, soft turnovers kill teams because so often your opposition will score, and especially in your forward half. But that was a soft turnover. It wasn't necessary. Had control of the ball.
Yeah, Daniel Merritt, he just gave it off, and Riscatelli might run himself into trouble. But now to Polkinghorn. Hooked the kick, not a good one, but it may end up towards Brown. Rich squeezes it, looking for Favola, who just cannot get into the game.
Well, that's what I mean. You've got to get him up the ground now. Just take him out of the square. Maybe Jonathan Brown back for 5 minutes. If you get 2 stars going at the one time, they get enough supply, maybe they can get back in the game. But, yeah, he needs to get, well, reinvigorated and get him up and going.
Brennan half got boot to ball, but it was smothered by Stratton.
It's probably about that time Jonathan Brown's going to need a spell.
Yeah.
So maybe just tell him to stay deep, push Fev up a little bit, keep him on the ground because he's getting involved, but he doesn't want to play the whole game at centre half forward, that's for sure.
Leuenberger. Like a 5 or 10 minute period where he got the team going.
Yep.
Kick clear. One-on-one contest here. Burgoyne made it look so easy to get around Collier twice.
There's those slip tackles we spoke about pre-game. The Brisbane Lions do that too often.
They might get one before three-quarter time here, Hawthorn. They've got some good movement here. Rioli gets it from Ellis. And he's going to back himself from 50 metres. He hooked it too far. And it's going to go out of bounds, so they can reset here, the Hawthorn team.
I tell you what, since Sean Burgoyne's played, I think they've won nearly every game.
They lost last week.
One game out of the 7.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing about it, I saw him get 16 clearances when he played at Port Adelaide in one game at Amy Stadium. It was one of the best clearance games I've ever seen.
Well, he can't be tackled today.
No.
In these stoppage situations, they can't get... Here he is.
Here he is.
Talk to the devil.
Jeez, he's got an earpiece in him.
Yes, he can't kick him straight, but he can't be tackled. His clearance work's been outstanding. He is one of those mobile players we spoke about at clearances. Hits the contest with pace, and he's got electrifying speed. He's got that innate ability not to get tackled. Strong body.
I reckon he's lost a bit of speed because of that knee injury. Yeah, well, he still is quick. No doubt.
McGrath, a kick towards Banfield, and Banfield, and that's this. He hasn't had a kick yet. And he's one of the nominations for the Rising Star. He's had some good games. That's his first kick of the day.
That's a shocker.
Tough one for Patfull. And that'll break a coach's heart, that sort of turnover. Gibson to Skipper. They're going to slow it down, Big Wade. Not just yet. Ellis.
Right down, Matthew! Play on!
His kick down the line. It's an open forward 50 if the Hawks can just push it forward somehow. Hodge trying to do that and may run out of time here, Hawthorn. He could have just pushed it forward and someone could have run onto it.
You're all over your stats, Matty. That first quarter, the two inside 50s were the equal lowest since Champion Data have been taking the stats of 2. And we reckon they cheated one.
Yeah, we reckon one was a birthday present. Half-time here at Aurora Stadium. Good news for Michael Voss. His team won the quarter to the tune of 3 points. Bad news for him. Hawthorn still have control of the game. They lead here by 60 to 24. We'll take a break. Tony and Alistair to have a good look at the first half when we return.
From Premiership to Player Manager, Monday 9:30, Collingwood tough man Craig Kelly sits down with Mike Sheehan in a remarkable footy discussion.
You get involved and you're passionate about it and you love it.
Open Mic, 9:30 Monday, exclusive to Fox Sports.
So many wonderful beers from so many countries. Do I start with, oh, bonjour, Stella, or konnichiwa, Asahi, or buenos dias, Corona?
Oh, get on with it.
I need an opener. Ahem. Oh, how droll.
Looking for your regular amber nectar, or perhaps another brand? All day, every day, you're better off at Bottle Mart.
The best thing about winning Hungry Jack's Whopper Grand Final week isn't the Brownlow tickets or awesome 2010 Toyota AFL Grand Final seats.
Okay, why should I take you?
Mate.
Mate.
It's deciding which mates you'll take.
Son, who bought your first bike?
I was the one that gave birth to you.
We are from Sweden!
Buy a Whopper and you could win a Whopper Grand Final week for you and 3 mates.
Come on, mate. It's Fitzy.
Who?
Fitzy!
The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's. 42 months no deposit interest free on now at Harvey Norman. Take advantage of this winter's hottest offer and get what you want now with a massive 42 months interest free. That's no deposit with monthly repayments. This amazing offer extends store wide. So make the most of Harvey Norman's huge range, big brands and best price guaranteed. The very latest electrical and computer technology plus furniture, bedding and Manchester. Get it all on 42 months no deposit, no interest till 2014. Limited time only now at Harvey Norman.
AFL superstars continue to grace the Fox Sports couch. Monday, live 8:30, Brett Ratton talks about the Blues rollercoaster season and whether they can mix it with the AFL heavyweights. On the couch, live 8:30 Monday, Fox Sports 1.
I used to think I pretty much had the perfect life.
Ellie.
But now I'm not so sure.
Right now, I just want to hate you for a few hours. Do you want to know why? Why? Because you deserve it.
The critically acclaimed Australian drama series Tangle is back for a second season.
I feel that we're playing a very dangerous game. We've done something terrible.
The world premiere of Tangle Season 2, 8:30 Tuesday, exclusive to Showcase.
AFL legends go toe-to-toe. Log on to foxsports.com.au and pick the individual rivalry that was AFL Tuesday. See Buckley and Voss going at it on the big stage. Judged it perfectly. Or wind back to 72 for the battle between Royce Hart and Bruce Doull. Or Carey and Djakovic head-to-head in the 97 semi. What a game he's playing. Take your pick. AFL Tuesday, 9:30, Fox Sports 1.
Peterson is there, still going forward. Peterson tapped it cleverly to Young. Young breaks the tackle, handball over the top. Ellis breaks the drought for goals for Hawthorn.
Half-time here at Aurora Stadium in Launceston. The Hawks lead by 36 points, 9-6-60 to the Brisbane Lions, 4 straight 24. Brown has 2 for the Lions, while Lewis and Roughhead are the major goal scorers for the Hawks. Burgoyne's been outstanding, probably best on ground to half-time with 19 disposals. As we look at the half-time stats, what have you picked out there, Shorey?
Oh, well, just that they have evened it up, Brisbane Lions. It was a better second quarter, but they had to improve because they were insipid in the first. Uncontested possession just shows Hawthorn have probably worked harder. You know, disposal, you don't worry about too much about disposal because they throw it around that much. Handball receives, that means that they've worked harder. And inside 50s, well, that's been diabolical, 27-10. But the Lions, one thing about them, they have been very efficient when they've gone inside their 50 because they kicked the 4 goals with their 10 entrances.
Well, that is one positive, I suppose. And I came to the game actually thinking the Brisbane Lions were half a chance here today, but we just saw them get off to a terrible start and they were just non-competitive around the stoppages. In the first half, I think it was frustrating for Lions supporters that they were indirect, yes. They were slow moving the ball, and they turned the ball over on too many occasions.
Well, on this occasion, now, that should have been a kick to the top of the square, because I looked behind, there was 2-on-2, and the 2 ones were Brown and Favola, and then you turn it over Buchanan because you want to, you know, get across to the centre of the corridor, but still not get it into your boat. It was just slow play. Hawthorn zoned beautifully in that first quarter. They just made them just stop up all the time, not get forward, and then those 2 forwards who you know are powerful players just don't get an opportunity. You turn it over in the midfield. Cyril Rioli, as we know, is just a great player in doing that by pressure. And those skill errors from young players, they'll learn from that, but gee, you won't play a lot of football if you can't kick the ball well at this level.
No, you certainly can't. And if you can't kick the ball, you want to be very good around the stoppages and the clearances. And all of the Hawks players were so good at that facet of the game, especially in the first term, but they were hard and clean in their possessions.
Well, you've got Luke Hodge, you've got Sammy Mitchell. We've talked about Burgoyne, who has just had a sensational first half of football. I think he's one of the best clearance players in the league. He's been cruel by injury. But you've got 3, and then you've got the Sewell, the toughness of Sewell. But even when it goes deep, you know, James Bateman, now, he's played negating on ball roll, but look at the speed factor. This is how they broke the Brisbane Lions apart. And those clearances, they've been in the top 3 over the last 5 weeks, Hawthorn, about the clearances and scoring from there, so in the comp. So that means they are on fire in that area, and it did continue in that first quarter.
Talk about on fire. Guys played a lot of football across the middle of the ground. Jordan Lewis, he's pushed up into the forward 50, and in that first quarter, he was electric, kicking 3 goals and a very dangerous forward.
Well, he just must be saying, why haven't I been doing this my whole career? Because, as we said last week, he did it against Corey Enright, kicked 2 goals. And this week he just did it again. He just went forward. And the one thing about it, he's a smart player and he's a strong body player. You know, he was on Johnson at that stage. Johnson gave away a free kick. He thought he had the ball. A little bit unlucky, but what Lewis was doing was getting involved and leading up to the ball carrier. So you know, if you play in front, you get rewarded with free kicks. The other thing, I think he had 2 goal assists.
Yeah, I mean, he's no doubt that his hardness around the ball, as his class, the finish, he can kick goals with his class, but his hardness certainly generates a lot of ball and other opportunities as well. Now, you wanted to have a look at a couple of Michael Osborne marks and talk about Tom Collier and how he was probably still learning his way, feeling his way in league football.
Now, you see this kick into Osborne in the forward 50. Now, you'll just see number 22 come onto the mark. That's Tom Collier. He allowed Osborne to get goal side of him, and I reckon the runner would have gone out. A minute and a half later, look what happens here. I think it's Jordan Lewis again, nearly carbon copy, but Collier has forced Osborne up the ground outside 50, and now Osborne has to kick over the mark and outside 50. You turn the ball over. Well done to Tom Collier, one. I think that he would have got the message. And he just improved and he learnt from his first lesson.
So what you're saying, if you're going to concede a possession to your opponent, concede it either wide out or a long way from goal.
Exactly. And you've got to get goal side, because one thing, if the ball goes over the top, they run into an open goal, there's space behind anyway, and just keep bumping your opponent from getting into that area. So well done to Tom Collier.
Yep, good learning experience. And time for a break here at Aurora Stadium. Plenty of work for the Brisbane Lions to do. The Hawks are looking very good. They're up by 36 at half-time.
The Arrows catch the best in the business.
Ballistic brilliance!
9 days of darts. World Match Play begins tomorrow. Live Fox Sports.
You do want to be very smart with your money these days.
Everyone's trying to save money where they can.
If you want value, there's only one word you need to know, and that's Bunnings.
Steel step ladder, $44.90. Bosch angle grinder, $69. 4-litre Taubman's 3-in-1 paint, $52. Koya doormat, $4.85. If you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Everybody loves good value.
Bunnings Warehouse!
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
BOQ, we're searching for the #1 Lions fan. So if you fill the boots, go to number1fan.com.au and enter now.
Every time you smoke, cigarettes are eating you alive. Smoking eats away at nearly every vital organ and tissue of the body. The heart, the lungs, the mouth, teeth and throat, even the brain. Cigarettes are eating you alive. Quit smoking today. Talk to your GP or pharmacist or call Quitline 137848.
For muscle aches and pains, there is new Denkarub pain relieving heat patches. Each patch heats up for temporary medicated pain relief, so you can get back to whatever it is you do. Denkarub pain relieving heat patches. Put a patch on pain.
42 months no deposit, interest-free on now at Harvey Norman. Take advantage of this winter's hottest offer and get what you want now with a massive 42 months interest-free. That's no deposit with monthly repayments. This amazing offer extends store-wide, so make the most of Harvey Norman's huge range, big brands and best price guaranteed. The very latest electrical and computer technology, plus furniture, bedding and Manchester. Get it all on 42 months no deposit, no interest till 2014. Limited time only, now at Harvey Norman. Sunday, 7th versus 6th, Judd versus Goods. The elite midfielders face off in an epic encounter.
Just threw it on the boot and said, that'll do!
Carlton, Sydney Swans, live 12:30 Sunday, Fox Sports 1.
July 31, Bundaberg Red Tri-Nation Series. Qantas Wallabies v All Blacks. Live and uninterrupted, Fox Sports.
Welcome back to Aurora Stadium. The Hawks lead the Brisbane Lions by 36 points. And now it's time to cross down to Rowan Smith because the Brisbane Lions have had a big inclusion today, and that's his Jonathan Brown. And Smithy, how did you see Big Brownie's first half?
Thanks, Lynchy. Well, one of my jobs during that first half was to watch Jonathan Brown. Obviously, you know, to see how he come back from his injury, from that groin injury. Now, he had a little bit of a quiet first half, especially in the first quarter where Josh Gibson, you know, just kept him disposalless in that first quarter. But, you know, the ball only went down there a couple of times. But he worked his way back in, as champions do, into that second quarter. He's had the 4 possessions, just had the 2 kicks, but he's kicked the 2 goals. So you can't keep a good man down. And this mark is just trademark Jonathan Brown, just running with the flight of the ball, you know, with all the traffic coming in, and, you know, just take a terrific mark like that. You know, that's what Michael Voss would want him to do because, you know, they don't expect too much. He's been out a few weeks, so, you know, the way that he worked himself back into that into the game in that second quarter was good.
And the main interest for, I think, from everyone outside how many goals Brownie kicks, have you seen any soreness around that groin lower abdominal area?
No, not really. He's been moving quite freely. As you know, Lynchy, his tank is sensational. He hasn't been getting up the ground a lot today. He's just come off the 4 times and just had a little bit of a rest, but he's probably just been playing a little bit more deeper than what he normally does. Yeah, we'd expect to see him probably rotate with Brendan Favola and push him up to centre half forward. There's no doubt about that. Now, Smithy, you've been doing some investigations and you've seen some a vision from the Hawks training during the week, and you saw it replicated out on the ground today. Yeah, the one thing that the Hawks always want to do at a scrum situation is to make sure they have plenty of voice around the ball and bring the ball out the back of the contest. You can see here they're just sort of fighting with the ball, and then it's just like a rugby scrum where they grab the ball and they rotate it and they keep the ball alive. And now today, Surioli had the chance. He dives on the ball here, forces out the back, he tumbles the ball out the back and keeps the ball alive, and he pumps, and then they pump the ball inside 50 and they actually got a goal from that. So it was fantastic play from the Hawks, and it's something that they practice during the weekend and it comes off during the day. Have you seen anything like that before, Shorey?
Well, not really, but you know, we say normally if you pick it up when you're running to the ball, you handball straight from ground level up. Yeah. But if you're under pressure from someone coming forward, always look out the back to someone who's behind the play. But that's very smart, you know, the way that you know that might occur, and especially boundary side. Yeah. I think it can work, and gee, we've seen it, I think, 3 times today, so well done to them.
And you see opposition so good now at holding you on top of the ball and getting those holding the ball decisions again. So if you can put it out between your legs, it's a massive advantage.
You can't get it out forward because they normally put the pressure on you forward, and they're waiting for that handball forward. So well done to Hawthorn for working that out.
Well, there's another big game going on today, and it's the Saints taking on the Pies. Let's get a score update at half-time. 7-7-49 at Collingwood, 3-5-23 the Saints. So the Pies are up. Brown and Shaw have 2 goals apiece. Geary and Kazitsky kicking 1 apiece for the Saints, and that is an interesting one. You'll be pretty happy the Pies are up and going.
Good Shaw will do that. You've got 2 goals at half-time. Just might be playing midfield, so it might be something different for his.
Yeah, he might be playing midfield, or he's playing pretty loose down back. Time for a break here at Aurora Stadium. We'll be back for all the third quarter action after the break.
Australia, the world's best one-day side, take on the #1 test team, India. An epic test double and 3 scorching one-dayers. Australia's Tour of India, live and only on Fox Sports.
It's Benji's night, it's the Tigers' night at Leica.
Fox Sports is getting back to basics.
Monday night football goes old school.
When the Tigers take on the Cowboys live.
Back at this famous venue.
It's one of footy's finest sights. A Tigers team near the top of the table, playing in front of the faithful at Leichhardt Oval.
What a game on Monday night football.
Join the Dream Team before and after the game. Live from 6, only on Fox Sports.
At Hog's Breath Cafe, bring your mates and share. Great food and that feel-good attitude. We're famous for our simply mouth-watering 18-hour slow-cooked prime rib steak. Bring your party and enjoy our hospitality for a while. And of course, our delicious desserts. For lunch and dinner, you're welcome at Hog's Breath Cafe.
We do great steak, always. Introducing the Lithium Tech cordless drill from Rockwell. The battery's 40% lighter, heaps faster charging, and loads longer lasting. It's 18 volts of non-stop Rockwell.
Oh boy, you make me feel like, oh boy, you make me feel like no boy can make me feel like you. I really, really want you, oh boy, you make me feel so, oh boy.
There's more to life than a Volvo. There's the freedom to change your mind and to change it back again. Introducing the new look C70 hardtop convertible. There's more to life than a Volvo. That's why you drive one.
It's cold, it's chilly, it's Rebel Sports Stay Active Winter Sale. There's 50% off selected men's and women's Adidas clothing. Plus Nike men's and women's dart runners are a low $69.99. Save $30. So get moving this July to Rebel Sports Stay Active Winter Sale or visit rebelsport.com.
Bottle Mart have a huge range of famous scotch like Johnny Walker and Chivas Regal at great value. Ow! It needs something else. What's my motivation? What's that?
Your motivation. Put it on.
I'll look ridiculous in that.
You're wearing a bottle suit.
Looking for your usual bourbon, scotch or any other spirit? All day, every day, you're better off at Bottle Mart.
The controversy, the burning issues, and the game's biggest names. Monday, take a seat with our AFL experts.
The young players coming through are actually stepping up and playing some good football.
On the couch, live, 8:30 Monday, Fox Sports 1.
Every outrageous bit of skill, audacious attempt, and gravity-defying save. Every season say tackle, every last gasp winner. Every heartbreak, every joy. Every goalie celebrating wildly by himself. Every game of the Barclays Premier League. Every game live of the Hyundai A-League. From the very first whistle to your last-minute prayers, football on Fox Sports. A brand new season. Coming soon.
Welcome back to Aurora Stadium here in Launceston as the Lions go through some physical warm-up before they get back ready for this second half. The breeze has picked up a little bit and the lights are on. It's a little bit darker than it was 20 minutes ago when we began the break, and there we see a lovely little stadium. As usual, Alistair mentioned at the top of the program how great the condition of this oval always is. And Hawthorn fans down here in Tasmania pretty happy to see that their team in control of this game.
Yeah, they'll be very happy. Good crowd in today, and their Hawks have been outstanding, especially in that first term. They were challenged, and we're pretty glad they were challenged by the Brisbane Lions to make a game of it. And it'll be interesting first 10 minutes. That man there, Sam Mitchell, had a great second term. He's had 18 disposals in the first half, along with Sewell and Hodge and Burgoyne leading the way on the ground with 19 disposals. The Hawks are looking pretty good. Be interesting third quarter, and the Lions are in a tight group there, having a chat just about how they're going to go about it. And that first contest, I'm sure, is all they're talking about at the moment.
Well, we spoke about Daniel Merritt's first half, and he just got to battle away and hope things improve for him. Brendan Favola at the other end is the man that I'd say all Lions fans watching at home would think, come on, we need a bit more, son.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's really his fault. You know, the first quarter wasn't Jonathan Brown, any forward's fault, because it was never in their forward 50, as we said. So, second half, yeah, they went through Jonathan Brown. He kicked his two. You know, Fev's just got to be disciplined in the defensive side of the game. He did do it on the wing once where he looked like he was going to give the chase up, did tackle and calls the turnover. Again, I say you've got to be proactive with him. If he doesn't get into it in the first 7 minutes because they don't get the ball in deep, get him up the ground for 7 minutes, run him around right up into the forward half, really. But just allow him to have his own space and do what he wants to do for 7 minutes. That's what you do to be proactive in a game.
You just got to get on the move, and the coordination between Brown and Favola has been pretty good. They haven't run into each other at all, and they worked it out pretty well. But, yeah, I think Fev will be focusing on laying some tackles, defensive pressures, and working hard to create space and get on the end of the ball if the opportunity arises.
Margin 36 points as the second half set to get underway. And it's a nice, wonderful start straight away from Renoff. He knew Sewell was going to be there. He tried to get it to Mitchell, but it was pinched by Buchanan, so the Lions affect the first clearance. And Brown with one of those trademark chest marks.
Well, he was going to, you know what, I watched him when that ball went in, and I thought he's going to take this out in front with his hands. But what he did, he knew that his body could be a block on. Have a look at this. This is just sensational. He wasn't there at the first part. But most people were taught to take it in his hand. He just blocked off Gibson from getting to the contest.
Yeah, big body in front of the ball.
He turned around, didn't he, to keep the ball away.
At the same time, I'm sure Josh Gibson would be a little disappointed he didn't get a fist in, but it's a big body to get around.
Well, expectations wouldn't have been high on Brown coming in this game, maybe 2 or 3 goals.
Yep.
This for his third early in the third term.
Should do a little bit off the left post.
Right on 50. He doesn't hit it well at all. It's not going to score. Renoff is there. And nicely worked out. Well, not just yet. They got it to Gillum, but he had nowhere to go, so he's forced to go back to Guerra. Still not out of trouble. Hodge, high ball. Both holding according to the umpire. That was Hanley and Rioli. Here's McGrath. Not much room to move there. Busted one tackle, busted 2. And then released Redden. In turn, Clark 1-2. Redden 55 out. Hits to the goal square. One-on-one there for Vola with Gillum. And that's out of bounds.
It's had a good few weeks, Gillum. There's a lot of talk of see the stoppage or the boundary line work from Ash McGrath just to shrug 2 tackles, which was very good. But Gillum is developing into a very good key defender.
Clark went over the back to knock it to the advantage of no one in particular. Brennan got there first. Polkinghorn given the up cut off by Rioli. And again, ball up.
Once again, a massive players around this stoppage. Every player in that half of the ground.
A dive on it after the ball up. Guerra has it for now.
See, we're still getting a lot of congestion in today's game, aren't we? The one thing that the AFL wanted to avoid, but you know, coaches are just too smart. They just keep pushing lines up the ground to make sure they get numbers around it.
Leuenberger won the knock, but again, it's Burgoyne who won the ball when it hit the ground. Out to Mitchell. Now the kick is out in front of Peterson, who's got 1.5 yards on Patfull. Just a stumble allowed Patfull to run straight past it. So both players would think they had a chance and missed it.
Comedy of errors there, isn't it? Just 2 fumbles, and at this level, you just pay a price, and well, it's 50-50 because it's over the boundary line, right in the middle of the ground.
Leuenberger's knocked out in front. Mitchell there first again. Just shrugs away Rockcliffe. Puts it up forward, but power read it best for Brisbane. To Brennan. Here comes Hodge. Brennan, not sure. Threw it on the boot. In best position to spoil was Birchall. Now here's Redden. Got a good up and he's got some space. Short, wants Favola. And he's taken it. So they finally get a chance to hit Favola on a lead. And he's done the job.
Gee, they had a few downhill skiers there, Brisbane. They were forward of that contest when that ball was knocked forward. So, hey, if you're going to win the game, you're going to have to score. And you don't mind them doing that now. And we can see 1, 2, 3 players around. Leuenberger just telling his teammate to keep running forward with it, Rockcliffe. And good, sorry, that was Jack Redden.
Yep.
Good finish then, the Brendan Favola.
Well, Fev kicked the torpedo into the 450 that set up the first goal. This is his first real shot at goal. Just inside 50. High kick. He likes it off the boot, and he gives himself a clap, and he gets on the scoreboard.
Like in the start of the second term, the Brisbane Lions have got off to a good start, and importantly, they've got Brendan Favola involved. And we know that Fev can have a quiet half of football where he doesn't touch the ball, but then he can come into a quarter and kick his 3, 4, maybe 5 goals. And it's important to get the big forwards, Brown, involved along with Favola, and he kicks the ball so well. So if you give him half a chance, he's going to give the goals a shake from 50 metres. Good goal.
So the goal of Favola brings it back to a 5-goal margin.
And Matty, you can see there that's Brett Renoff just a left ankle, so he's just limped off. So fingers crossed that you know, hopefully he can come back on, but he looks in a fair bit of pain actually.
Thanks, Rowan, because Leuenberger's done okay today, and now he's up against Skipper, but the clearance is affected by that man. Lewis tackled, ball spills free. Hodge run back into traffic. Lewis slipped it to Burgoyne. Got a call out the back. It ends up with Mitchell, who just drives it long. Power doesn't like this situation on Bateman, and did okay because Yeah, Luke Power wouldn't like to be standing in front of a high ball.
You're a bit lucky there. You can have a look at it a bit later, but just if you wrap your arms around, all the umpire says that has to be a free kick, but you're right, they're taking him deep.
Now Burgoyne is doing everything right. He's dived on that, and that's probably his first mistake.
Yeah, they love that. That's the only way he was going to get held with the ball, being on the ground, because he's been very hard to tackle.
Power slips that tackle, and the kick out wide is looking for Buchanan. Still on it, Guerra's coming. Wouldn't give up, but holding the ball.
Yeah, I know Lukey Power got that kick out of defence, but guys, Michael Bosch, you've got to get him up the ground. Just release. Tell him to go up and some other defender take Bateman deep in the square.
Was that tackle held?
I wouldn't have thought so, but it's when the players spin around 360, the umpires will pay the free kick. And they've said that out on the ground. If you get spun around in the tackle and you've still got it,
So
you're in trouble.
That's the law, is it?
Not the law.
No.
It's an interpretation of the law.
That changes occasionally.
You said that, I didn't.
I think it changes sometimes who the player is too.
Okay, right now.
Now we're getting off track, gentlemen.
Like Brownlow medalist allowed to be 360, but
punched out by Leuenberger. And Sewell can't keep it in.
Brent Renouf just getting his ankle attended to there. Re-strapped that left ankle, so it'll be important he can get up and going again.
Flip out the back this time from Leuenberger to Clark. His handball put his teammate Redden under pressure. Coming in Burgoyne. Whiskatelli's there as well.
So Mitch Clark playing as a very big ruck rover at the moment, allowing Leuenberger to do the ruck work. We just see the tap down from Leuenberger straight to Mitch Clark. I mean, he can certainly get possession at first possession because of his size and strength, but don't know whether you want him as your first possession man.
Hanley gave it up. Mitchell in turn right from the boundary. Geez, that's not a bad shot from Luke Hodge.
well, Sammy Mitchell's the man now. He's just getting out, playing off the back of the pack all the time, being fed by his team.
He had a very big second quarter as well. He was outstanding through that second term with 12 disposals. Started off well in the third term now with 6.
And again, the Lions just kick it out of bounds on the full, so it's going to come back in quickly for Hawthorn.
That's a big start to the quarter, 6 disposals, 8-minute mark.
Yep. Sewell to Hodge. In turn, Skipper. Big wade from 50 metres. Right on the boundary, right to the goal square. Skipper with a ripper.
Nice work, Matty. The big ruckman has just peeled away from that stoppage, and on the left boot has put it into the goal square, but that wind that's favouring that end. And just see here, some good work from Hodge again. But Wade Skipper knew where the wind was going, knew he would be assisted by putting it to the goal face, and just the wind blew it through beautifully. So, you know, you're in strife when the big ruckman is slotting them through from the boundary from 50 metres out.
Well, Wade Skipper's first goal for Hawthorn, not a bad one.
And you know what happened? He just saw Luke Hodge kick a ball from there and hit the post. I would have gone back to centre and said, mate, that's how you do it. None of that post stuff. Bit of humour. He's gone back into the centre bounce. They're going to rebound this. You just do that, wouldn't you, Hodge?
Yeah, just give him a little rub.
Well, Lynchy Leuenberger and Mitch Clark have both come off the ground straight away. Now, Goose Maguire's gone into the ruck here, boys, so we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, he's got knocked.
That's a strange one.
And knocked out beautifully by Skipper, taking advantage of that to Hodge. Merritt with Roughhead, and Merritt overran it. Roughhead picked it up, 55 metres out, lets the breeze do its work here, but stayed out left.
I reckon I'd throw Daniel Merritt into the ruck and just say, hey, so just for the 10 minutes.
Why not?
And just say, Goose Maguire, go and play on Roughhead, because he's getting slaughtered by Roughhead every one-on-one. And at least Merritt can run around. I know he wouldn't be fit enough to do it, but he's not doing it in the defensive half. He's having a shocker today.
And he's got a big body to contest in those centre stoppages as well.
Now Brennan swaps with Clark as he comes back out in the ground as McGrath's kick is long. Tackle from Collier on Mitchell, and Mitchell is working hard. He doesn't have it. Oh, gee, I didn't think he did that. I just don't think he actually grabbed the ball in. I think Collier might have just raked it in underneath him. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I could be wrong, but
really,
let's have a look.
He doesn't have the footy.
Well, it's Banfield's holding the ball under.
Yeah.
I say it
That's
again.
the skill of players these days.
That
they do
has
that.
to be black and white. If you just say, if you hold it anywhere under and you cannot get out, even if they hold it in, people will not bring the ball in. They'll just keep tapping it on. But we've just got this grey area in the interpretation. Some umpires will say they've pulled it in and held it to you. Others will say, bad luck. We've got to take it out of the game.
Sorry, Tony. Johnston just came to the bench and he becomes the switch. But Hawthorn have got the zone working perfectly here.
And they'll start to press it up.
Johnston is a very reliable kick, though.
Always prepared to concede the one outside.
Gee, Riscatelli kicked to 3 Hawthorn players in the middle. No one up forward. Young. How will it bounce? It bounces beautifully. Goal Young, his second.
Almost the most dangerous kick in football, the 45-metre pass into the corridor, because if the ball is elevated at all, I mean, if you can kick a 45-metre pass that's low and punchy and only goes about 10 feet in the air, it's okay, hit the target. Once it's elevated a little bit, it allows the opposition to get to the contest, and on that occasion, that's exactly what was happened. Enough of a contest from Jordan Lewis to get the ball to ground. Great goal.
Kicked it from almost 75 metres out and just let it roll through. He's one of the best kicks in the game.
Well, I think he's so important. They're going to make finals. They could go a long way with they've got raking left footers in a lot of area, Hawthorn. They always find space.
They'll kick 2 in a row here, Hawthorn. And then pushing forward again. No, it's cut off by Rich. With a very low ball, a tough one for Collier. Tackling is good by both teams today.
See, Toddy Banfield's, he started beautifully this year, but just the year's got too long for the youngster.
He's finding it real difficult today.
Yeah. I'd like to see him with his speed to come off half-back or something. Yeah, again, he's got to try things, Michael Voss. Free kick here.
Well, Maguire's not a ruckman. He's giving a free kick away.
Well,
to
this is ridiculous. Where it's strange that Goose Maguire's in the ruck. Mitch Clark is standing next to him as a mobile, big midfielder. The problem last year, Mitch Clark was almost all-Australian ruckman.
Good point. Redden did well there. He had 2 or 3 efforts at that, and eventually it ends up with Clark from Rich. Ball goes off the side of the boot, though. Banfield managed to spoil it. Stratton was there. Staker takes it. Fumble, though. Collier. Burgoyne, he can slip any tackle. Birchall took his time. Brisbane should mop it up. Look at Burgoyne. Maguire. Well, not sure about his disposal there. Gee, Travis Johnston hit it in hope. Sherman's been very quiet. Out wide, looking for Banfield. Shepherd from Favola allows Banfield to push it into the pocket. 2-on-1 Brown. Almost.
He's almost grabbed that. Jonathan Brown, once again forced wide just at the moment, controlling the corridor, the Hawks.
19 scoring shots to 5, telling the story here. Hawthorn by 44. The kick from Hodge, out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, 19-5, and
I just want to show you this now. Now, look at... Rich gets the ball, handballs to Mitchell, going the other way. Mitch Clark going the other way. He's a left-footer coming into the corridor. Why would you do that handball to a ruckman going to the...
Well, that's the thing then, and they're not even playing him as a ruckman, so you don't want the ball in his hand to finish off. You want Daniel Rich.
Daniel Rich is one of the best kicks in the competition, coming into the corridor on his left foot, driving into the 50, see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just not making great decisions.
You don't want Clark calling for it. You want Clark to say, come this way, I'll shepherd.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Good point, Matty.
Great point, Matty.
Well, here's Osborne. Don't worry about me. Osborne, 75 metres from goal. Here's a great point. The man at the point is Roughhead.
Oh, I'll say it, Shorey. Yep. Good mark from Roughhead, and the Hawks' quick movement into the forward 50. And once you get into the forward 50, it leaves the big defenders vulnerable. And once again, Jared Roughhead is turning Daniel Merritt around at the moment and getting a goal side of him. And if you can be honoured, if your league can be honoured with a good kick, it's very hard to stop. Just got to defend goal side.
Number 3 for Roughhead. Well, I spoke too soon. He's kicked 2 goals, 4. That's a shocking kick.
Well, you know, just to see the way that Daniel Merritt was just turned around by Ruffhead, Maguire should be playing on him now. And the questions will be asked of Michael Voss. What happened with the ruck when they had Leuenberger and Mitch Clark? Both ruckmen come off. Maguire goes into the ruck. Why is that happening? You know, this is what happens sometimes when a coach could get in bad form.
Well, here they both are. Leuenberger and Clark. Doesn't matter. Renoff's ankle is fine as he takes a big mark. Off to Hodge, off the right boot. Floating ball. And McGrath took the safe option of punching it out. It was wobbling in the air a bit.
Well, he took the option of a player that's not overly confident, a team that's under siege, and just killed the contest. But if you can get 2 hands to it, you probably can mark it, but took the safer option.
Leuenberger forced underneath it. Well, Renoff's not moving that well. Look at Mitchell.
Look at this bloke.
And Burgoyne, it's not going to come back for him. In fact, we've got a fair bit of distance with that, didn't it? Burgoyne up to... Well, they've got 4 players that are on, you know, 40 or 35-plus possession pace. And that's Hodge, Mitchell, Sewell and Burgoyne. 100 disposals between them.
Yeah, 264 to 190 the disposal count is for the game.
Brown having a rest, having a chat.
Oh, that's too easy.
He's back with a vengeance, isn't
Well, that's too easy, but this kid's starting to develop into a good young ruckman.
He was forced there, wasn't he, because of injuries?
Guerra this time with a long ball, the left boot long. Gee, it's coming in long from on that side of the ground, isn't it?
Just one thing, I was in Adelaide last night, everybody's talking about Adelaide being a side, and here's Renoff. Just strong play. Well done to Campbell. Brown just held his opponent off the ball. Yeah, Adelaide are going along nice. I tell you what, Hawthorn, you put Buddy into this thing, and all their senior players are starting to playing well. Mitchell hurt there.
Yeah, he was buckled over inside forward 50 and was off the ball. I'm not sure what happened there, but he's pretty slow to get up.
Clark tries to bust the tackle. No opportunity.
Great tackle by Hodge. I just say about Hawthorn, you get Buddy back, they're playing that unsociable football, their zone's working really well at the moment, and their clearance work is sensational. And he's having a say there, Mitchell.
Yeah, he's not overly happy with someone.
Ash McGrath.
Yeah, it's Ash McGrath, Matty. Sorry, mate.
That's all right, Smithy, and we're on the same plane. Here is the kick there. Beautiful pass from Burgoyne. What a player. It's a pleasure to watch him play footy.
With that little breeze, there's the Luke Hodge, the experienced player, just come in and told Jordan Lewis, have a shot for a goal. Well, Jordan hasn't played a lot forward. I don't think you had to tell him that, Luke.
And here's the 100 game on his home deck. Birchall, he let us down.
Bit of sentiment there, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was.
Come on, you've got to cut that out of your game.
Well, I thought Jordan Lewis was a Monty to have a shot. And there's a little bit of a breeze just to assist with distance. It wasn't going to be a problem, I don't think, for Jordan Lewis. But he's... Birchall's one of those players, turnover.
Oh, Trip. Look at this.
It's all falling apart here. We've got 8 minutes remaining this quarter.
And Sammy Mitchell went straight up to him and said, OK, you deserve that, because there might have been something happened behind play he wasn't happy with. We might be able to see this again. The kick in, Johnson. Oh, Ash McGrath just spills it and grabs Peterson's ankle. Now look at Mitchell.
Sammy.
Here he comes in. There you go, son. Pop them.
Yeah, it has been a good few minutes for Ash McGrath. I mean, the double fister over the sidelines when probably could have taken the mark. And that one wasn't a great kick.
He's only had the 3 kicks today. History's first. Oh, he slots it straight through. And they keep building on this lead, Hawthorn.
They do, and the Brisbane Lions are in danger of the absolute floodgates opening here. It's been it was a good start to the quarter, just the first few minutes for the Brisbane Lions. You see the Travis Johnson just poked at that one, didn't get it to Ash McGrath, and he compounded the problem. But have a look at the likes of Hodge, who's had 8 disposals, 7 for Sam Mitchell, and they're starting to blow away the Brisbane Lions, the Hawks. Too many good experienced players at the moment.
McGrath to the bench for a while just to have a spell as Peterson kicks his first.
I tell you what Carl Peterson gives you, and if they can keep control of his off-field discipline, he can jump on heads. In finals in dry weather, he gives you that unknown factor which you cannot control from an opposition player.
Oh, here they go again. Hodge, Ellis, Hawthorn dominating. Mitchell the target. Sherman got into his back. Polkinghorn can't get past Rioli. It's a tough job on any day. Clark runs back into trouble again. He's been doing that all day.
Come on, you've got to work it out. This is senior level football. you know, thinking you can run through players who are great tacklers. You just don't do it. You get rid of the handballs from ground level straight away.
Mitchell chipping in, board. Lewis, will he take a shot this time, surely?
Yeah, I reckon he definitely. But it's still that, I find it surprising that Mitch Clark's been used as a bold player, and he tried to take on the tackler here. But essentially, he's a very athletic, very competitive ruckman, but just tried to take on two quality Hawthorn players in a tackle.
Mitchell and
just quick
Ellis.
hands. Yep.
Lewis has a personal best of 4 goals. This to equal it from 40 metres. Jordan does it, and it's a 59-point game.
Well, he's just turned into a very, very important player as Jordan Lewis. You know, the good thing about what they've done, they have been proactive how they're utilising. They're saying, go and play on. You know, if they're going to play against the St Kildas and Collins, they'll pick the best defender, a medium-sized defender, maybe rebounding defender. You go and tag him and see if you can kick a goal on him like he's done in the last couple. He's kicked 6 goals now in 2 weeks as a negating defensive forward.
Jordan Lewis, 4 straight, 3 in the first term, so all his goals right of screen, taken 8 marks for Hawthorn.
Yep, and as you said, Shorey, it's not bad for a guy that's going down there to principally stop the offensive run from deep defence for the opposition.
Hodge with another clearance. Roughhead back on it a second time.
Oh, he's pinned him.
Oh.
He's holding it in. Umpire said he's holding in. Look,
if you try to punch it or something.
Yeah, and that's what they ask. Yeah. Just give me something to hang my hat on that you're trying to get it out. Swing your arms or something. Easier said than done.
Gee, the handball by McGrath was terrible. Hodge 1-2 with Roughhead. Rioli's been quiet in this term. He's got it now. Rioli! Another goal, Hawthorn.
How far this team's come from in the last 8 weeks when they turned things around. Coincided with the class of Burgoyne getting some match fitness and getting back into the senior team. But they have class all over the ground, but it's not class that wins them the game. It's the tackling pressure. They have numbers around the contest. See there, that contest there was 3-on-1. Hodge was able to get involved. In the end, he could have had a ping for goal, but he wants to share it, wants to bring his teammates into the game. On that occasion was chip across the Rioli, and that's the class to finish.
5 straight from Hawthorn, blown it out to 65 points.
I think the other question mark, if you look to the opposition, though, you're going to ask, all right, who's the leaders at this club for Brisbane for the future? Jonathan Brown won't be there all the time. Powell won't be. We know Simon Black isn't playing. He's probably been their best player this year, Simon Black, by a mile. And, you know, he's in his 30s. They need players to stand up, and it's not happening at the moment.
Leuenberger's going okay. He got it out the centre, then he's smothered there, and he went again. Leuenberger won that off his own boot. Somehow to Power. Not from Luke that time. He just tried to chip it too short.
Yeah, he's been using the ball well today, but that one was just a little short. But you're right, there's key players around the ground that are leaders, whether they're captains or what. I mean, Josh Drummond's missed a lot of the year, and he's a real leader. He sets up the ball out of defence and really sets up the forward 50s entries. He's been missing.
Pressure from Hawthorn, won it back. The handball from Lewis, the kick from Brown, and Merritt gets a mark. That's a rarity for him today.
Get some applause from Shorey, too.
Well done.
Gee, almost turned it over, Tony.
He's right.
Hanley, again, the handball through the middle, missed the target. Sherman's going to give this up. Patfull's under extreme pressure here. Bateman into some space, 40 metres out. Missed it.
Lindsay, we're just seeing Justin Sherman actually just get a touch there. What about him? He needs to stand up. When he's on fire, he is virtually unstoppable. But when he's not going so well, he virtually goes missing.
Well, that's the thing, and that's too many players have that their best and worst are poles apart. I mean, if you can bridge that gap, and over the years, the last couple of years, I think Jared Brennan's been able to bridge that gap between his very worst and his very best. This bloke's very good. Burgoyne.
He just missed the target there. Osmond's managed to keep it in for the while, not long enough though.
But you're right, Smithy, and Sherman does stand out when he plays well because he's got pace and he backs himself to carry the ball, but he needs to contribute on other days when it's just not your day. He's still got to tackle and be involved in the play.
Boundary throw-in. Leuenberger's there. And Whitecross can't get free. Sewell, tough.
The other issue with Buddy Frankel not playing, the unknown factor of the Hawthorn forward line. You know, in finals, sides will, let's have a look. Oh, gee, that's normally a free kick or a ball up straight in the goals curve. You have any part of your foot on the line. So they've had a different setup in their forward line without Buddy Frankel, and it's worked pretty well against, pretty ordinary opposition, I would say, though.
Burgoyne again, just going back now to Brown. Smothered, but look at Mitchell, just read it well. Hooked it back, it's a high ball, it's floating in, and so is Roughhead. Well, he missed a sitter before. He's got 2 goals for. It was one that he'd kicked 100 times, and he kicked a banana on the siren in the first quarter, so he makes the difficult look easy, and the easy look difficult.
Here's this new technique, Matty. He's back to the boundary line. He knows where the line is from the mark to where he should be standing. One step in across your body.
And kicked it out of it. No,
it's gone down the line.
Well, he's kicked it
on the wrong side with the ball.
But he started to float back the other way. He's almost kicked it straight across.
Can I ask a question? I've seen players do that. If you've got the line from the umpire saying, OK, that's the line to where you can kick him coming over the mark, if you take 2 steps to the left, you're off the line. That should be play on.
Well, it is. It is.
But why do they allow him to stand 2 steps from that line where he's going to come back to kick? That's play on. Before, even as you go off with walking it.
Why not just go back, kick a drop punt, kick the goal, celebrate, and we'll go back to the centre?
We're just new techniques, Matty.
Rich.
I'm with you, Matty. I'd go the drop punt.
Brown caught behind, but he brought it forward. Just out of touch, Brown with the hands just there. Sewell threads it back. And Gibson has the luxury of a couple of players out wide. Skipper to Bateman to Ellis. Stratton smothered, butted up for a second effort. Just a bit brisk with the handball.
It was, and that was a mistake, and that came from a good smother and pressure from the Brisbane Lions. But the Hawks were running in waves. They were over-possessing the ball, and they were honouring the effort from their teammates. So those handball receives were right up, uncontested possessions. They're certainly dominating that facet of the game, amongst others.
Another tackle again from Ellis. Sewell. Buchanan working against a couple. Sewell again. And eventually it goes over.
Well, here's this Jordan Roughhead. Now, here's 2... See how he does those 2 steps to come in? That's play on, but the umpire. But but hold on, the 2 steps that he's had to go away from that line, that's off the line. That should be play on, even if you walk.
Did he start off the line, though?
He said the umpire, where's the line to the goal from the man on the mark, and he's come 2 steps back. That should be play on, even if you walk it.
Yeah, we should be.
So that technique should be blown out of... As soon as he goes backwards with 2 steps, that's play on, you can run at him. He shouldn't be allowed to get those 2 steps in.
So you're saying he started moving from off the line?
Of course.
Well, the umpire shouldn't blow time on until he's on the line.
Well, good point there, Matty. But I think as soon as he goes backwards 2 steps, that should be, to get Seti to come in and kick, that should be play on.
Something to debate out of this game during the week. Plenty of programs to do so.
Oh, there's some good ones.
Meanwhile, Hawthorn continue to dominate. The Lions kicked the first goal of the quarter, and since then it's been all one-way traffic. In fact, most of the goals coming right of screen. Just 4 goals at one end and 15 at the other. Maybe it's going to be 16. Roughhead plays on. No way about lines this time. All clear, 1 goal.
That's an outstanding mark. That's a bread and butter contested mark. Strong forward, held his position, protected the drop zone. He'll come in long, and he's in the right position to hold his opponent off. Now, as a defender, you just got to try to push back the other way and even risk giving away a free kick. But look at the strength here. Roughhead just holds position, protects the drop zone. In the end, a regulation chest mark. A little bit too easy, but it was a perfect kick for that sort of mark.
Well, he's kicked 3 goals for. He kicked that one out in the full, so he's had effectively 8 scoring shots on merit.
Now, you don't want to be a smarty, but can you tell me that you never saw a problem with this matchup? Probably 10 minutes before quarter time. These are the questions going to be asked of Michael Voss now under enormous pressure. And we don't like seeing him under pressure because he's been one of the greats of the game. But this move should have been made, I reckon, 10 minutes before quarter time.
Here's the confidence of Hawthorn to run it out by hand. and to run it out with apparent ease. Rioli gets it from Guerra. Chipping back inboard, Ellis. Birchall, wider. This is the scoring zone for Young.
Oh, yeah.
60 metres out on the boundary.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you'd better believe it. A hat-trick of goals to Young, and they love it.
Oh, I love that spot. What about left footers? There were 3 left footers involved in that standard of play. I might have exaggerated, might have been 2, but it sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds
but
good.
yeah, have a look at the way that they just play. There's one left footer inside to another left footer who handballs to another left footer who handballs to a left footer. That's 4 left footers. I tell you what, they're only going to go one way with a left footer out the space towards the boundary line.
Yeah.
And he still kicked the goal from there. That was sensational play.
It's raining goals at Aurora. Young has 3, and they've been beauties. They've all been from a long way out.
It's been some cracking goals from that spot on the ground. And running 55 metres out, put it up in the wind and just cutting back beautifully straight over the umpire's hat.
7 straight here to Hawthorn. Brennan trying to do something about that. Drills it low towards Brown. It's a hard one to take. And that's a nice pick-up, though, by Staker. Can he get one against the Tide? Yes, he can. 6 straight for the Lions.
Yeah, good goal, good response from Brent Staker, and just clean pick-up. Contest from Jonathan Brown, just wasn't able to get down, but that is a clean pick-up from the big man. 6'4", had enough time and space to straighten up and execute the skill beautifully, but we're still back to that situation where we've got Goose Maguire will jump in the ruck, and Mitch Clark will be the ruck rover. I find that strange. It's an asset to have a big body in there, but just doesn't use the ball well enough if he actually gets possession.
What's it say? You're right. Mitch Clark was an nearly All-Australian ruckman last year.
Is there something wrong with Clark? Could that be the...
Oh, well, all right. Well, what are you going to say about Maguire, that he's dispensable, that you can put him in the ruck, and he's already had knee problems himself?
No, I'm just saying, that surely that's the only possible reason. As Rich's kick goes forward, Banfield has not seen it all day. Tapped out by Buchanan. First man to it, though, was Sewell. Give out wide. Guerra. Oh, he's just done that all day.
Left footer.
Smothered by Staker. Dive on it by Ellis. That might stay in. Rockcliffe or Redden. But pressure again from Hawthorn. Maguire without it. They'll run the clock down here, Hawthorn. They do enough. Oh, the Lions kick the first. Hawthorn kicked 7. Then the Lions kick the last. But at 3/4 time, it's a big lead. It's a 72-point margin to the Hawks. We'll take a break.
Subcontinental cricket of monumental proportions. Australia, the world's best one-day side, take on the #1 Test team, India. An epic Test double and 3 scorching one-days. Australia's tour of India, live and only on Fox Sports.
You do want to be very smart with your money these days.
Everyone's trying to save money where they can.
If you want value, there's only one word you need to know, and that's Bunnings.
Steel step ladder, $44.90. Bosch angle grinder, $69. 4-litre Taubman's 3-in-1 paint, $52. Koya doormat, $4.85. If you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Everybody loves good value.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Isuzu D-Max, 4x4 or 4x2, with 3-litre power and up to 3-tonne towing capacity. It's perfect for working, perfect for weekending, and with advanced fuel-efficient turbo diesel technology, it's perfect for your wallet. Discover more at isuzuute.com.au.
Because sleep will soon become a luxury. Because it's time to live the unforgettable. It's time for the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Fly Emirates. Keep discovering.
Here in the Mattel Toy Lab, we're busy testing toys. Like Thomas Take and Play playsets open up for fun wherever you go, with all your favourite characters and locations, new from Fisher-Price. Discover more serious fun at toylab.com.au.
I went fishing in Matini the other day and I ran into this charter boat.
What, you didn't see it?
No, anyway, because I've got RACQ boat insurance, I'm covered.
How could you not see a charter boat?
Whether you want to cover your boat against damage or just for the damage it may cause, talk to us. From $89 a year, we'll help you wherever we can.
Charter boat? What charter boat?
RACQ Insurance. Wouldn't be without them.
You know, the pure waters in these parts are not like the water in other parts. They make things different. Good different. Don't know why. Suppose it's always been that way. Because this water just makes things better.
Boag's Draft from the pure waters of Tasmania.
The PGA Championship, August 13 on the home of golf, Fox Sports.
Sewell to Hodge. In turn, Skipper. Big wade from 50 metres. Right on the boundary. Right to the goal square. Skipper with a ripper. Gee, risk and tell it. Kicked to three Hawthorn players in the middle. No one up forward. Young. How will it bounce? It bounces beautifully. Goal Young, his second. Yes, at three-quarter time here at Aurora, the Hawks had their best ever, or their best first quarter for the year. They've backed it up with their best third quarter for the year, 7 goals both times. They've blown the game away to lead by 72 points. Lewis with 4, Roughhead 3. Brown has a couple for the Lions. And so many midfielders for Hawthorn have had plenty of the football. Hodge at the moment on top of the list. So we take a look at the stats for the third quarter, gentlemen. What a domination.
It is a domination, and just the Brisbane Lions aren't getting their hands on the ball and haven't got the intensity. The tackling numbers are in favour of the Brisbane Lions. That's because they probably haven't had the ball and they've had to chase so much. But the inside 50s is a damning stat, 20-9. They've been blown away at that facet of the game as well. All game, they only had the 2 inside 50s in the first quarter, and it wasn't too much better, really, in the third term with 9. So they've got plenty of work to do.
Well, let's go down to Rowan Smith on the boundary.
Thanks, Matty. Well, the boys, Alistair Clarkson a couple of weeks ago spoke about how Sam Mitchell is a magnificent leader and virtually got him over the line against the Bulldogs with a broken hand. So he missed last week with the broken hand. Today, and what a magnificent comeback. He's had 29 disposals, 13 of those have been contested. He's had 2 scoring assists, 3 inside 50s. He's just such a fantastic player for the Hawthorn Footy Club, and he's led from the front again today, Matty.
Yeah, 11 disposals in that third quarter. He's just been sensational.
Has been great. Hodge 31, Mitchell 29, and Sewell 29. And Sewell will be very happy he did get his reprieve from being dropped. The late withdrawal of Lance Franklin, but the Brisbane Lions players have been held in by Michael Voss for an extra few minutes. Not sure what you can say, but he'll be just pleading with the team to compete hard. Don't worry about the scoreboard, just compete hard, win each contest, and just see if you can get something out of this last term.
Well, I tell you, when you talked about Hodge, Mitchell, Sewell, I looked at the next man, Sean Burgoyne. Again, Hawthorn looked like they're going to play finals. Everybody said, why would you go Sean Burgoyne when he came from Port Adelaide? The reason being, he's an out-and-out star, except he's been cruel by a knee injury, and it looked like it might have even been the wrong decision halfway during this season. Now that he's come into it, he just adds. He is tough too. He's tough and he's strong, but he's just the way that he's so clean with his clearances adds to those other 3 players you said with Hodge, Mitchell and Sewell, as we see Jeff Kennett there with his scarf on.
He'll be very happy up there at the moment, and he'll be very happy with that recruit that you just spoke about, Burgoyne. just can't tackle him. Jonathan Brown, looks like physically he's got through the game all right so far. There hasn't been a lot of ball supply to actually bring him into the game, but he'll be looking for a big last quarter to finish off.
Well, we've got Clark in the ruck.
There you go. Alistair, well done. You got some pull down at Brisbane, someone told me.
Well, I don't know whether it was me, to be honest, but he was leading ruckman in the competition last year for mine.
Well, there goes Matty's theory about having something wrong with him. Matty, yes. you just tried to help out there, didn't you?
I was, yeah. Play the devil's advocate. But here is Hodge. Well, Rioli slipped but got under the tackle and got it out beautifully to Guerra. Saul's kick wide. He hasn't had a lot of kicks today. He's had 24 handballs. Merritt's tap back. Peterson first to it.
Jeez, this bloke.
Off the left boot, wants Rioli. Collier arrives. Rich. And they'll have to see it over the line there, the Lions.
As you said, Shorey, Peterson hasn't had a big game with the ball in his hand, only had the 5 disposals, but so it's not quite his day, but he contributes in other ways. He puts pressure on by his chase, his enormous amount of speed. He's got that X factor. He's going to do something at the right time.
Wade Skipper's free from the throw-in.
Oh, that'd be 50, I think, descent.
Against Mitch Clark.
Well, you know, it's been just a horror day at the office, and they have, well, they've surrendered in a number of games by big margins, Alistair, and that's very un-Brisbane-like, but this would be the issue here. When you're mentally down and things go, you just got to try and keep control. If you get angry with things, this game you won't survive again. So, you know, Mitch Clark, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't come to the bench and just talk to him about it, about, you know, you're going to have these shockers.
Skipper kicked his first goal for Hawthorn. We saw it was a beauty. Up until then, he'd kicked 5 behinds, and he's back to the old habit with that kick.
And it's obvious that these days you cannot argue with the umpire. I mean, you can't even show that you're disappointed in yourself in some ways. Throw your own mouth guard away in disappointment. So you certainly can't say anything to the umpire. I think that's a good rule, but that's something that you just got to work through, be a bit smarter.
Ball at ground level. Hodge won it, gave it to Gibson, threads it through beautifully to Sewell. They're still going here, Hawthorn. Guerra, strong hands.
Strong hands under pressure from behind.
Spots a man on a lead. Not a lot of room for Roughhead to move into. As Clark gets it from Rich. Put Collier under pressure. Sewell from Guerra. Birchall. Short pass out wide. Wanted Peterson or Lewis.
Good hands.
Wonderful to Burgoyne. Inside 50 he goes. Kick across the face. If it goes out, and it did, Merritt was quite happy to see it over the line.
Yeah, well, just let it go out of bounds. Don't think about trying to rebound from defence, but just their hands from the contest have been a real big difference.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3 quick hands, get it in the space, and Brisbane haven't been able to cope. Here it is again.
Yep. Bateman just took a little bit too long there, and kick for the boundary line, but a push and shove going on.
Miss Clark, he's got the angry pills. He's taken a few at 3/4 time.
Well, 73 points down, I would be shutting up. And I've been 73 points down a few times, Shorey. I didn't say a word. I love to chat.
Yeah, it's not a great time for your confidence when you're getting belted.
It's not that time to look at the score and go, nah. That doesn't work, does it?
He won the knock there.
That's smart.
Sliding in was Roughhead. It's touched off the boot. Handball out looking for Mitchell from Lewis, was just a bit wide.
This is where they've been good. In all these stoppages, whether it be boundary line or ball up in the centre corridor, they'll have someone on the move.
Rich, well, he gave it to Sewell. Sewell is just raking up handballs here.
That's a great kick.
That's a nice kick. Sewell's up to...
what's he? 28. 34 disposals, 28 handballs.
28 handballs.
You reckon he's happy? He might send a Christmas card to Buddy, I reckon, this year, just to say, thanks for that, son. You turned me my whole year maybe around after being dropped. Now, young left footer, normally you'd have to start this between the point post and the goal post to the left-hand side to kick this goal.
Lining up for goal number 4. He starts at he started at the
too
point
wide,
post.
didn't he?
If he was listening to you, Tony, that's all clear.
You read it beautifully, Shorey. Just started a little bit too wide.
It's probably the hardest kick for a left footer is on that side of the goal, no doubt. You kick it across the face of the goal more than coming into it.
The Lions really struggling to get it out of their defensive 50 here.
Well, it's a great zone that the Hawks have in place.
Clark has to go.
Good contest.
He got it, and he got it out to Riscatelli, who kicks it high. One-on-one, Gibson and Brown. Brown, he had to beat a tackler coming in. Hawthorn should win out here, or Gibson gets it pushing the back.
Just on Mitch Clark, he might be a bloke who needs to get angry to start playing his best football. Sometimes players are like that, and they haven't got a turning on point early.
Yeah, don't worry, he gets angry most games. He really competes hard, and he's one that really pushes the boundary and can give away free kicks at times, but he competes really well.
Here's Brown, big leap from Peterson. He went up early. Play on. Will put Brown under power under pressure. McGrath just got his kick. And in between three Lions, it finds Gibson.
Yeah, they'll hurt him on the way back here now. They got numbers free. Peterson will be used here.
He's next in line from Burgoyne. Young is next. Now, he's got time to get onto his left boot. He turns around, not sure where it is. Yes, no, wait. Spots a man in the middle. Lewis will go back for a PB of 5 goals.
Oh, he's loving this, Lewis. Just floating forward. So often he floats forward and he's got no direct opponent right on him. And on that occasion, he was free for a few seconds. In the end, there was a little bit of a contest, but it was all too late. And a strong player like that took a good overhead mark against some pressure.
You know, they're coming off. You know, Geelong last night came off the Hawthorn game, looked very flat last night in Adelaide, but Hawthorn has showed that they are just sharp at the moment. They're building for a big finals campaign, I would think.
Stuttering run up from 40 metres. Doesn't make the distance. Well, I know he didn't kick through it, but
there's a bit of wind there. He's kicking right into the teeth of the breeze from that pocket.
So it was a strong mark in the end by Leuenberger.
He's been pretty good today, Leuenberger.
Yep. Here's a chance for Ellis. Back to Mitchell. In turn, Campbell-Brown.
Look at the hands.
Sewell again, but this time Riscatelli cut it off. Little fumble from Redden, puts himself under pressure, and 30 to 30. It'll be Brown, man in the middle if he gets up. Birchall. He's off the line, out wide. Space for Gillam to just chip it forward. White cross. Let's go to Rowan.
Well, Matty, Chance Bateman's just come from the ground, just complaining about some right hamstring tightness right up high. So the physio and the doctor are just talking to him at the moment. They're just getting, obviously, just trying to assess the injury, but it's right up high on the right hamstring.
Tell you what, they're not rubbing it either, Rowan. They're just talking to him about it. So he might be done and dusted for the day. Hope he hasn't torn it, but they are not rubbing it at the moment to keep him involved in the game.
Well, they're leading by 74 points.
No, I know that, yeah.
Just take him. That just put him in ice, so have an early shower.
And you wouldn't argue about that. Rather than sit on the bench, would be pretty cold down there, I would suggest. But yeah, it looks like that might be it for the day. Just get a little bit of work, stretch test there.
Yeah, see whether he feels something once they stretch it out.
Riscatelli. Kick high, but again, it's 2-on-1, favouring the Hawks. At the back, Stratton.
Where they go again.
And he's off and running, Stratton. Hands to Birchall. Under a bit of pressure. But they've got numbers. They share it around. Mitchell involved once again. Birchall kept going. Handball back. They're just playing with the Lions here, just toying with them. Roughhead, trying to take it one-handed almost. But backed up with a beautiful handball to Ellis, who spots a man right on 50, and it's Skipper again. Now Skipper's going to pass to the lead. Into the pocket he goes.
Oh, holding against Hydra.
Well, that's 50. That should be 50 after the free kick given.
Yeah, well, they do pay that one half the time for 50. They certainly do.
Let's take a look. Yep.
I'll tell you what, Brisbane have not been able to get any flow on a switch, have they? I can't remember the last time they switched out of defence. to get a loose man. And look at the kick here.
That's a good point. They just haven't been able to switch all day.
No, and the times they've tried, they've turned it over in the corridor.
Skipper from Renoff into the pocket again. Hodge, take 2.
He's trying to squeeze the ball out between the legs out the back, as we've seen so often these days with the Hawks.
Lions yet to kick it behind for the day. In fact, they're hardly getting it forward to centre in this last quarter. Sewell, this time decides to kick it rather than handball.
Geez, that wind's blowing up now.
It blew it across, didn't it?
Well, that is the point, Matty, that you make. They haven't kicked the point, so they've had 6 shots at goal to 31.
Well, Brad Sewell has he's going to have a 40 disposal game as a reprieve.
I would think this would be close to one of their lowest ever inside 50 tallies of 19 only at this stage. 19 for the game. I don't know. I think if you look up the record books, it'll be very, very close to it. 19 to 54. So you're going to get a shellacking if you get that many times in.
It'd have to be close to the all-time low, I would think.
In every team, not just Brisbane.
Oh, don't worry about Brisbane. I don't think they've been in there that low, but I'm thinking, who's been in there that low?
Well, Briscatelli's got it onto the chest of Buchanan. He's made it 20, but again, it's 2-on-1. Or is it going to bounce through? It's touched on the line. We have our first behind.
I thought Matty would have just come straight up there like that.
I thought he might have had it, but we'll have to just investigate that one. Take a few more minutes to look into it.
Put the computer one down for the rest of the games.
Out wide the kick. And there's the mark by Stratton.
Geez, good player, this kid.
Isn't he what?
He's going to be a 10-year defender.
Well, that's just Stratton and Gillen starting to really emerge. A young ruckman like Renouf.
Patfull tapping it to Polkinghorn. Sherman again to Polkinghorn. This time he got himself free on the left boot. Brown backing. And Gillen did the right thing and pulled up.
Oh, you know
Brown
what?
wanted 50.
Brownie should have gone down then. Brownie should have just faked and going down. He would have got 50 because there was a bit of late contact. There's no doubt it wasn't a 50, but because he's so strong at the have a look at this. He's pulled out Gillen and half hit him, and Brownie says, well, mate, I made contact after. If I fall down and make it look good, you give me 50.
Yeah, but look where Hayden Kennedy is, just there. He's not going to fall for that.
No.
Been around a long time.
He's too experienced for that one.
So just his 4th kick. He's kicked 2. His last effort was a poor one. And he's popped that through, so he'd be happy with 3 goals in his comeback.
I think he would be very happy with that sort of result, but I think the main focus to get through the game in one piece. He'd be just really disappointed that his team hasn't been able to fire a shot, as Jonathan Brown actually will come from the ground. And that might be actually to put the cue in the rack, because next week is going to be very important for him. He's just got to get his body right, get some fitness and some touch under his belt, but he's been good. Limited opportunities. Ball's only gone in 21 times, so he's been pretty good.
3 goals for Brown with just his 4 kicks, and he came straight from the ground.
It'd be interesting to speak to Smithy about Brownie there, and he's got a little bit of a limp. Maybe we read too much into it, but maybe he's just tightening up all over the body.
So a goal against the Tide for the Lions. Mitchell didn't have it. He'll win the free kick.
Lynchy, he's just walking past me as we speak. He definitely has a little bit of a limp. Now, you don't want to read too much into it, as you said, but he's probably done a fair bit of work. First day back after a few weeks off.
And when he's up and going, don't worry, he has a fair strut, big Brownie. So it might be the strut just starting to come back. Bit of confidence for the big man.
Chance again for Hawthorn. Run off with the kick, and it's a centering ball. Burgoyne almost, the juggle. Ball spills for Redden. He went back into traffic, went back to the danger zone. Handling, Shepherd to let Leuenberger through. Tackle was Rioli. Mitchell cleaning up again. One way, then another. And then back through the corridor he goes. She was almost a mark to Hodge. Brennan fishes it out. Got it to Rockcliffe, who punches it forward with a high ball, but waiting underneath it, Campbell Brown. Here's Sewell
They haven't scored this quarter, the Hawks. They have been totally dominant, and they have not scored. Brisbane have gone forward, I think, twice and kicked the goal, so their efficiency's still up, Matty.
Here's Hodge. Not sure they'd be too pleased about that, though, Tony.
No, I know, Matt. That's how ridiculous it is.
Yeah. Osborne. Kick. Well, it went to the top of the square, so it's a live ball here for Rioli. Handling, McGrath. Rioli laid 2 tackles in a half a split second. Burgoyne helping him out. Osborne lurking for the ball. So too Skipper, but it's going to come out the back to Johnston. And no switch again for the Lions. They've got to go up the corridor. Oh. It's dangerous. Redden caught. Rich to clear. Gets plenty on it.
There are plenty of players back here too, the Hawks. That's a great stretch.
Wonderful Mark Murphy.
Gee, he was much maligned, Tom Murphy, by Hawthorn supporters. They had a couple of bad games in big games. I reckon he's been very, very good this year. Looks like he's matured a little bit.
Stratton to Peterson with a bit of space.
He's starting to rack him up too. He's three possessions this quarter. Well, that's not good though. Oh.
Ware is equal to the task though. Keeps it low. Lead from Hodge into the pocket. And too good there.
Yeah, just high contact, I think it might have been from Jared Brennan. Good lead, though. Jonathan Brown looked like he's about to come back out onto the field, which is good news for the Lions if Fed comes off.
Hodge going to set it up for a big leap. It's going to come from Brisbane, though, from Clark. Didn't take it.
Oh, big tackle.
Solid tackle.
Gee, late in the game. I don't know. I've been surprised with a few decisions from Michael Voss today, but why would you throw Jonathan Brown out there after cooling down and you've had groin problems? You know, I don't know.
Maybe Brownie said
got nothing
to
to do with
Vossy, I'm going back on.
Oh, well, I think someone's coaching. Who's coaching?
Redden took the mark, squeezed it to Maguire. Now he's got... It's a poor decision because it was 2-on-1 Hawthorn. Luckily for Brisbane, it goes out of bounds. But a kick along the line to a 2-on-1 contest, 25 metres up the line.
Yeah, that's right. Short to a contest at the best of times, no good. But in that area of the ground is very risky.
Leuenberger punching forward, cut off by Hodge. Ball bouncing free.
Well done.
Hanley did okay there.
Yep.
It's going to come back. It comes back pretty quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, this was the Hawks are smart. They're just dropping players off the contest, just allowing the Brisbane Lions to have extra numbers around the stoppage in their defensive 50, but Hawks just rebound.
Tell you what, we've got an easy target next week anyway, Brisbane Lions. They've got Geelong down at Skills Stadium.
Yeah, they go all right down there, the Cats, as a rule.
They've won 4,062 games in a row.
For an average of 80.
Yeah.
I think it's 20, isn't it 21 in a row?
And they're coming off a loss.
Yeah, so they might be a little snaky, and they'll have a 9-day break, I think, as well. The Cats.
Ruffhead's taken another mark. Gee, he's been good today. He has just given them, without Buddy Franklin, I tell you what, this man would be an all-out superstar without a Franklin inside for a long time.
Oh, he got the win right that time, Tony.
Yeah.
Now they've split the middle. He kicks his fourth.
Well, I say that because Buddy Franklin demands the ball, and he's such a talent that I would think the higher percentage goes to Buddy Franklin. But no doubt Jared Ruffhead's enjoyed the space today, the freedom. Look, he's had a dominant midfield to be on the end of, but he's just done it so well. He's probably also had an opponent who's in horrible form in Daniel Merritt, but you can only do what you can do, and he has done it all today. There's no doubt about that.
.44 for Jared Ruffhead.
Yeah, he's been good. He's moved very well, competed well in the air and on the ground. So good signs for the Big Hawk. As you said earlier in the call, Matty, 8 goals in the last 6 weeks. He's probably struggled for consistency, but today's been his best game for a while.
Lewis won that. Hodge couldn't get it out. He did that time. We got it to Mitchell. Rioli up and at it. And they just pulled the kick. Lewis. Again, Hodge. Here's Peterson. Collier. Look leg. Johnston, the fumble from Patfield. And it's a race to 40 possessions between Hodge and Sewell. They're both on 38.
Peterson got the bad bounce on that occasion, but he was quick enough to turn around and lay a strong enough tackle, which was good.
There's another tackle as Johnston gets it out. Sewell, well, this will be 39. And here's Lewis.
Once again, the Hawks have defensive players spare, or players spare on the defensive side of the stoppage. They're doing that all day.
Wanted Roughhead, and just the communication just broke down there.
I'll tell you what, they haven't had a great opposition today, but next Friday they come up to St. How's this for a game? St Kilda versus Hawthorn next Friday at Etihad Stadium. Gee, St Kilda coming maybe off a loss against Collingwood today, and Hawthorn belting them. Yeah, you will really find out where Hawthorn are against a competitive St Kilda side.
There's been some great games of late. We saw Geelong Hawthorn last week.
Saturday afternoons.
Yeah, I mean, it's some fantastic football in the AFL at the moment.
Hodge trying to get it out. He gets to 39. I'm just having that battle with myself to see who gets to 40 first. Riscatelli, they're both on 39. Staker. Kick long, Favola. Chance for a crummer in Travis Johnston. Couldn't keep it in.
I tell you, you look to someone who could have played on Roughhead again. Brent Staker's gone back for a month this year when they struggled to have any defender. Brent Staker might have been a bloke who could play on Roughhead. He went back there early and did a fair job after starting as a forward early this year.
Yeah, he's done some very good jobs back. I think they've liked the way he's moved in recent times up forward as well.
So have I.
But, yeah, point taken. But I think the move might have been certainly Maguire.
Power drags it back inside 50. Plenty of players around the ball. It came out, but too late.
How have you seen those senior players' recruitment this year now that we can have a bit of time to think about? I think Staker's been nearly the find of the year out of that group. You know.
I think Brent Staker's probably played his best football since he's been here. He's played some cracking games. And we sort of reviewed it about 4 weeks ago on a broadcast and spoke about the different players. Staker was certainly a positive. Buchanan has had a couple of injury problems, but looks like he's been a positive as well as Staker gets involved here.
Tight on the line. In fact, Staker's kicked just out of bounds on the floor.
And it was, how do you assess Fev's introduction to the team? I mean, he was in some very good form early. Then he's really struggled up until last week, coming back into the team with the groin abdominal area.
Yeah, he's had problems with that, and he looks like he's carrying a bit of weight now, which means he can't get around. Doesn't train a lot, I heard, but I didn't worry about him going down that track because they did, as I said a couple of times, under Lee Matthews had 10 debutants in his last year, so that wasn't long ago. So they were fairly young there. It's a young side out there at the moment.
Yeah, I didn't mind the recruitment. Now we've got a couple of Hawthorn players down. One, I think it may be Wade Skippers in a bit of discomfort with it. Looks like a
just with cramp. Just with cramp, Lynchy, yeah.
That's all right then.
Just bending back his toes, just with cramp. He's actually done fairly well today, running a lot in the ruck. Wade Skipper today.
Yeah, I think they've been good, the Hawthorn ruckman, because I think the Brisbane ruckman, when Clark and Lauenberger have been in there, have competed pretty well as well.
Oh, great courage.
Yeah, had to stand and wait. Osman chipping forward, but cutting it off though was Maguire. So Hawthorn will get their 9th victory this season. They'll keep pressure on those above them, and they'll push away from those trying to rise.
Yeah, and I'll go so far as saying I think the 23 inside 50s is a record, I reckon.
Okay.
I've just got a few in 27, 26.
You've got some mail, I reckon.
Do you think?
Yeah. Not unless they can do something in the last 2 minutes, Alistair. I doubt it.
Plenty of tired players out there. I mean, they've worked very hard, especially the Hawthorn players. I mean, the Lions players have had to work hard to chase.
I think you made a good point before, Tony. The Hawthorn have absolutely dominated this quarter, but they've kicked 1 goal.
Yeah. Other thing, too, we just saw a man run away from the contest, Josh Gibson, to get a couple of games with that bad injury, like Nick Rewalt, to get a couple of games under his belt. He looks like he's got through it all right. Probably had an easier day today because the ball hasn't been in there that often, but that's a good sign too. I think he's a good competitor and he can take small and tall.
Chance for power. Tries to keep it low. Almost for Brown. Staker.
Yeah, he's competed well when he's had the opportunity. He's always there at the contest. Brown's taken some very good marks, but he's a superstar of the competition. But Gibson, he's getting some fitness under the belt now and working his way into some good form.
Not quite that time, skipper. Staker trying to break free. It's paddled out the side. And Buchanan can't keep it in.
Copped a couple of whacks to the head again, Eamon Buchanan today.
Look at these hands, just great hands.
It starts with Mitchell too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But they have massive numbers around. They back themselves to hit targets and be clean with their hands.
Well, we saw them training just before about how they train it. Here's Berger running onto it.
He's going to get it here too. Oh, he could have given it off to Roughhead. He's caught.
Yeah, I think he's in strife.
No, it's come out the back. Now Roughhead's got it. And he wanted a handful, but he's missed again. 4, 5 and 1 on the full for Jared.
Yeah, had the chance. The eyes lit up. And there was some good work again. We thought Burgoyne may have been pinged with the ball, but they managed to find the ball out there to squeeze that out. That's almost that ruck and roll that they're doing and practicing, and it's working very nicely.
The Hawk tunnel. They might get one more here, Hawthorn, in the last 30 seconds. Polkinghorn's going back. Handball forward now to Buchanan. Leuenberger takes it, plays on. Good luck trying to catch that one.
Well, that's how well Gillam's going, because that was nothing but a floater, and he's been able to mark that quite easily in the end. And there's free kick up the field.
And the man who plays his 100th game on home soil will have the football when the siren sounds. And it's a good old-fashioned shellacking by Hawthorn. Absolutely dominated this game. They continue in terrific form. And they have won this contest by 75 points. As Tony Shaw said, they are a force to be reckoned with come finals time.
Yeah, they're in great touch. They've won 7 out of the last 8. Their only defeat was to the top of the table Cats by a few points last week at the MCG. But they've got a great spread of young players, experienced superstars, and a great captain there in Sam Mitchell, who's come back from that hand injury and played extremely well. He had 35 disposals, was one of the best on the ground. And I think they'll be very confident. I think the fans, when they leave this ground today, and Rowan Smith is down with one of the best on the ground. And who is that down there?
Jordan Lewis.
Jordan Lewis, sorry.
It certainly is Jordy Lewis, Lynchy. Well, Jordy, that's a fantastic win today, mate.
Yeah, it was, Smithy. I think, you know, when we come down here, we want to make it, you know, sort of a home ground advantage. And I think the first quarter we really took our chances. You know, with the win, we didn't just bomb it away. We still hit that little lead up and used the ball pretty well and managed to convert.
Talking about the first quarter, you've kicked another couple. You kicked a couple last week. It looked like you started off as a defensive forward. Are you enjoying that role?
Yeah, it is. You know, you probably don't want to do it every week, but, you know, it's great. It's, you know, doing the team thing and managed to get a couple of goals early. I thought it was probably going to dry up a little bit like last week, but managed to get a couple late and, you know, just enjoyed playing forward, enjoyed doing that defensive role.
The statement that was made during the week about Brad Sewell being dropped to Box Hill and then him getting a reprieve today, and then he's having 40 possessions today. It's a fantastic effort.
Yeah, I spoke to Sewell before the game and I just sort of said, how are you going to attack? And he goes, you know, I'm just going to put it behind me and really attack the game. And to his credit, shows what sort of bloke he is. And he came out and he, you know, obviously played really well. And, you know, probably thanks to Buddy, he pulled out for me and he pulled out for Sewell. So we'll take him out for dinner.
Oh, congratulations on a fantastic win today, Jordan. Well done, mate.
All right, thanks, Smithy.
He started it off in the first quarter. He was brilliant, kicking 3 goals. And what an afternoon it's been for Hawthorn here at their second home in Launceston. Their biggest victory in 2010, 75 points. Their season steamrolls on.
These pure waters are special. Something goes in there, it comes out different. Good different. Oh, sure, things don't always turn out the way you expect. But who's complaining? Because this water just makes things better.
Bogue's Draft from the pure waters of Tasmania.
Shane's always wanted a dual cab ute, and he bought a Great Wall V240 4x2, loaded with features. Did you get a good deal, Shane?
No. Got a great deal.
Great Wall Motors, the great cars of China.
For muscle aches and pains, there is
new Denkarub pain-relieving heat patches. Each patch heats up for temporary medicated pain relief, so you can get back to whatever it is you do. Denkarub pain-relieving heat patches. Put a patch on pain.
It's not discussed often that the Scots have never been very welcome on the Australian worksite.
Oh, Lachlan! For God's sake, man! Use your knees!
Until now, with the new 420 legendary Angus meat pie, made with only the finest Angus beef, it's welcome on any worksite.
You do want to be very smart with your money these days.
Everyone's trying to save money where they can.
If you want value, there's only one word you need to know, and that's Bunnings.
Steel step ladder, $44.90. Bosch angle grinder, $69. 4-litre Taubman's 3-in-1 paint, $52. Koya doormat, $4.85. If you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Everybody loves good value.
Bunnings Warehouse!
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Millions of cigarette butts are littered in Australia every day. Any way you look at it, it's not a good look. Butt littering. It's not a good look. Please butt it, then bin it, to help keep Australia beautiful.
So we could make one really big effort.
The fairways are reasonably generous, and universally the players have been fulsome in their praise.
Absolutely stunning, surrounded by galleries 10 deep. And this moment is what all those hours of practice have been about.
That's what it was like to stand over that putt knowing that that was for the title.
And what an arena this is.
Australia, the world's best one-day side, take on the #1 Test team, India. An epic Test double and 3 scorching one-dayers. Australia's Tour of India, live and only on Fox Sports.
Chris Judd, Adam Goods on AFL Sunday, live at 12:30. 7th versus 6th.
Just threw it on the boot and said, that'll do!
The elite midfielders face off in an epic encounter.
Good hands, good kick. Unbelievable goal.
And live at 4, are the Demons able to shock the Dockers and dent Freo's top 4 tilt? Fremantle, Melbourne.
Runs around and kicks the goal.
It's a 7-hour session of live AFL on Fox Sports.
Full time here at Aurora Stadium, and the Hawks have run out very good victors by 85 points, 17-16, 118 to 7-1-43. They led at 36 points at half-time, 39 at quarter-time, and they were just far too good for a pretty disappointing Brisbane Lions. Roughhead kicked 4 along with Lewis. Brown was 3 in his return game from injury. Hodge was outstanding along with Sewell, who came back as a last-minute emergency, replacing Lance Franklin. So, Shorey, it was an impressive outfit today, the Hawks. I thought that going into the game, the Brisbane Lions might be a chance, but it was players like Luke Hodge were just outstanding from the first bounce. Well, the way they contested in the stoppages, but finished as well.
Oh, well, this man, I always thought Jonathan Brown at his best was probably the most influential player in the competition. I think Goddard in form this year and this man probably are, because they're utility players. He started across forward, went in the midfield. You know he can play behind the ball beautifully as a defender. His foot skills, his competitive attitude. You know, there's been these arguments about Sammy Mitchell and also Luke Hodge, who's the best captain. It doesn't matter. No. Mitchell's the captain and Luke Hodge is just a leader because he's natural at it. So, yeah, very influential player today and in the competition as a whole.
There was a dozen great players today for the Hawks. Jordan Lewis was another very good one. Unusually, as we've seen over the last few weeks, he's played in a defensive, almost a tagging role in the forward 50. But once again, he's got the class to finish and ended up with 4 goals.
Well, look, he started 3 goals in the first quarter and he's been playing as a defensive forward, which, as you say, he goes to a player who's dangerous and then they don't put time into him, and he showed it today. I think he also had probably 2 or 3 goal assists. You know, he's going to be he's always been a good midfielder, so he's found a new niche coming to, still probably got 4 or 5 years in league football, but yeah, a very good mark overhead and a lovely, beautiful finisher too.
And Sammy Mitchell, as we just saw there, he was a very good player today and came back in. There was plenty of talk around the ground this morning that he might be a late withdrawal, so great performance from Sam. There was another game going on today, and that was the Pies that were taking on the Saints. We've got a full-time score here, 15-10-100 to 6-16-52. Brown and McCaffer 3 each. Stevens with 2, and that is a very big win for your mob.
Well, you know what, look at Swanee again. Dane Swan, 36 possessions. He'd have to be nearly Brownlow favourite. Montagna was one of the Brownlows, so they'd had plenty of the ball. One thing I think St Kilda, the way that they don't score heavily, that means that they can keep you in the contest a long time. If you score quickly, Collingwood 15 goals 10, that doesn't happen very often against St Kilda.
No, it was a very impressive win for the Pies. The top 2 teams have been defeated this round, but down here at Aurora Stadium, it was a very convincing win by 85 points to the Hawks over the Brisbane Lions here at Aurora.